We'll do a lot of discussions this morning, and I believe that this morning you will be in the midst or the middle of affairs. Well, so the two issues shaping our political and democratic landscape. The New Patriotic Party is holding a crucial presidential primary to elect a flag bearer ahead of the 2028 general election. An exercise that would test the party's unity, test its internal democracy, and also its readiness to function as a credible opposition. At the same time, a recent Supreme Court ruling has reignited debate about electoral justice, about judicial authority, and also about public confidence in the rule of law. This morning, we'll discuss these topics, see what impact it has on our political landscape, and then also on today's MPP's primaries. We'll be right back after this break.
For decades, we have helped businesses connect with their trade partners all over the globe. From Ghana to Burkina Faso, Côte d'Ivoire, Benin, Togo, Senegal, China, Morocco, France, Netherlands, and many other countries. We have made it possible to bring Ghana to the world. We have brought small and medium businesses closer to their customers across the regions in Ghana with our SME support facilities. We have brought relief and smiles to the faces of families with our employee personal loans. With our cutting-edge technology and digital support, we take the burden of complex thinking off you, making life simple. That is who we are, as close as a partner. Bank of Africa, we are indeed the global reach.
Well, welcome back, and thank you for staying with us. This is Current Agenda, your most authoritative news analysis program. This morning on my reflections, I would do something a bit different from what I've been doing. Today, I would want to talk about the NPP presidential primaries. Today, I would want to talk about the test of leadership in the NPP. So today, the New Patriotic Party takes a critical step on its road to the 2028 general election, with the presidential elections or the presidential primaries to elect a flag bearer today. Now, this is more than just a vote. It's a litmus test for the party's future. As delegates gather to elect a flag bearer for the 2028 election, the real stakes is not just the voting. The real stakes is unity. The real stake is credibility and the ability to follow up and chase on government. Today, something new is happening, and the stakes are high. Powers will need to be renewed in the NPP. Ghana's democracy and the NPP supporters expect a reboot, not just words, but action. The primary's conduct and post-primary unity will set the tone. There are big players in the mix. The businessman Kennedy Japan, Kwabena J. Japan, the engineer, Dr. Brian Achampon, the IT specialist, Dr. Yao Educhum, the educationalist, and Dr. MAHAMA Bawumia, the economist. This contest is about experience, ambition, and the loyal following. But this leadership test isn't just about winning. It's about grace, it's about process, and putting the party and the nation first. 3 key cardinal points. Ghana will be watching. Not just the winner, but how the losers respond. In 2023, we saw how it went, how losers responded, how some quit the party, how some went throwing tantrums. That is what Ghana will be watching today. That is what Ghana will be following today. The credibility of these primaries and how acceptance will be given and not anger. It is therefore incumbent on every aspirant this morning to commit publicly to accept the results. Reason why I think the Peace Pact was necessary. To urge their supporters to exercise restraint. At the same time, to reject any form of intimidation. When we sing the national anthem and we talk about oppressors rule, that's what we mean. Political violence has no place in internal party contest. It weakens institutions, damages reputation, and erodes public confidence. The responsibility to prevent it lies first with the candidates themselves, their utterances, the things they would say, their words before, during, and after the vote will either calm tensions or inflame them. The process demands peak performance. The party's electoral structures, working with relevant electoral authorities where applicable, must ensure that the process is free, fair, transparent, and credible. Clear rules, transparent counting, swift results, and dispute resolution. That's the path to a widely accepted outcome. For me and my team and everyone at GBC, we wish the NPP the best of luck. And we pray that they do as is expected of them so that they can be the credible opposition to give the necessary pressure, in quotes, to government. When we come back, we'll be discussing the primaries into details. We'll be analyzing the figures, looking at the predictions, both spiritual predictions and the empirical predictions. My panel and I will be discussing them. We'll be looking at which ones are more credible and who stands a better chance. At the same time, our respondents and correspondents and reporters on grounds will be coming in and giving us live telecast on what is happening. Don't go away. We are here this morning till the votes are counted. We'll be right back after this break.
The Inspector General of Police, Christian Teteyehonu,
For decades, we have helped businesses connect with their trade partners all over the globe. From Ghana to Burkina Faso, Côte d'Ivoire, Benin, Togo, Senegal, China, Morocco, France, Netherlands, and many other countries. We have made it possible to bring Ghana to the world. We have brought small and medium businesses closer to their customers across the regions in Ghana with our SME support facilities. We have brought relief and smiles to the faces of families with our employee personal loans. With our cutting-edge technology and digital support, we take the burden of complex thinking off you, making life simple. That is who we are, as close as a partner. Bank of Africa, we are indeed the global.
Well, welcome back. We have one of our correspondents or reporters at the NPP headquarters, Morris. So we would connect with him directly and engage him. Morris, good morning. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you.
All right, I'm counting down in 5.
Hi, how are you doing, Morris?
Morris, you're live.
Hello,
Right,
Morris,
so
can you
we're
hear me?
coming to you from the national headquarters of the MPP. Voting has started already. Per the last count, some 20 delegates had voted already here at the party headquarters. So we are expecting some 153 persons, which include Council of Elders, the patrons, former national executives, the current national executives, directors, former president and former vice president, ministers, deputy ministers, and one TESCON coordinator. We're also expecting delegates from the diaspora who are coming in person to cast their ballot here at the party headquarters all across the country, some 276 constituencies. We have some 211,000 party delegates who are going to be casting their ballot, deciding who leads the MPP into election 2028. Don't forget that in July of last year, there was that Congress which amended the party constitution to widen the scope of delegates. And so now we're having former national executives, we're having former appointees of the MPP, MDCs, MMDCs participating in this particular election, ensuring that there is fair representation. So here at the party headquarters, Kojo, all is calm. We see the delegates come in, and so even before you enter, your name is checked from the list before you're allowed to make your way into the party headquarters proper the ballot. These are measures put in place by the party to ensure that the process is smooth. The director of elections, he is stationed here at the party headquarters, ensuring that everything goes on smoothly, and at the end of the day, who wins appropriately. Quickly, we speak to Director of Elections, Mr. Gary Nimako. Good morning, Evans Nimako. Good morning to you, sir, and welcome to GTV. So far, how will you say the process has been?
I think I will leave the judgment to you, but let me say that we thank Almighty God for today. The environment you see here at the headquarters is the same happening across Ghana in all the 333 voting centers in the 276. We are expecting that, as you see here, is the same thing happening. We're counting on the Electoral Commission and the Ghana Police Service to help us. I can assure you that
Well, we apologize for the loss in sound. We would go back to him immediately as rectified. But we would go straight to look at a bit of a profile of the 5 people aspiring or standing elections today. Before I do that, I would want to also inform you of my guests for today. As and when they also come, I would introduce them. We'll be doing a lot of switching in between the screen, their interaction. So it's going to be very, very interactive this morning. I have with me today lawyer IBRAHIM ISHAQ. He's a member of the Bawumia campaign team. Also have lawyer KWAME OWUSU DANSO. He's the president for Accountability Forum and a private legal practitioner. I also have with me lawyer Austin KWABENA BRAKO-POWERS. He's also a private legal practitioner. You can see the two of them smiling at you. Also, we'll be joined by Professor SEIDU MAHAMA ALIDU MP for Tamale Central, and then also by MUSSA DANKWAH, the Executive Director for Global Info Analytics. And then from the Kennedy Japan campaign team, we'll also be joined by ERNEST ADADE. And so we would have representatives, and as and when others are in, they will call in or will phone in and have some interactions with them to get a feel of what is happening. And so we'll start with the one who is number 1 on the ballot, Kennedy Ohene Ejapon. Would walk through his profile, so we'll have a bit of an understanding, a fair reflection or a snapshot of who Kennedy Ohene Ejapon is. So let's start with the number 1, Kennedy Ohene Ejapon. He, as we know, he used to be a member of parliament for I think Asin Central, if I'm correct, and he's been there for 24 years. If you divide 24 by 4, that's about 6 terms. So he's been well represented in parliament, and he's a known voice in this country, a very strong critic of the party itself, and a critic also of the opposition. He's one that we've known over the years to be very fierce, a fighter, doesn't mince words, says it as it is. Today, the delegates will let us know whether that is a good quality that they cherish for a leader or otherwise. He's an astute businessman. He's not been shied away from telling us how how philanthropic and how entrepreneurial he is. And so when we go through his profile, you'd get a bit of more information on Kennedy Ohene Ejapon. So if we can have the profile of Kennedy, so we go through the profile of Kennedy Ohene Ejapon. As indicated earlier, we would have...
Born to Francis Ohene Kofi Ejapon and Mary Insia on June 16, 1960, at Asin Dompim in the Central Region, Mr. Kennedy Ohene Ejapon was first elected in 2000 to represent Asin North. He later transitioned to Asin Central in 2012, where he has consistently retained his seat. Throughout his political career, Mr. Ohene Ejapon has played a crucial role in the NPP, contributing financially to the party since 1992 and actively supporting its electoral successes, making him a key figure within the party. Ken, as he is affectionately called by colleagues and friends, had his secondary education at ADADE College in the Central Region and later pursued a degree in civil engineering from the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology in Kumasi. Mr. Ejapon also studied at Fordham University in New York, USA, and holds a GCE A-level certificate. Known for his fiery debating skills and persona, Mr. Kennedy Ejapon is one of the few politicians in Ghana who never lost his parliamentary seat since 2000. In addition to serving as a member of the Special Budget Committee and the Judiciary Committee, he chaired the Defense and Interior Committees in Parliament and also served as a chairperson of the Communication Committee. As an entrepreneur, a farmer and businessman, He owns a number of businesses in and outside the country, which includes media houses such as Oman FM and Ash FM, the Asin Farms, Supercare Group of Companies, and Hollywood Shopping Center. His presidential expedition began in 2022 when he announced he will not seek re-election to Parliament for a 7th term. Later in May 2022, he announced his intention to contest the presidential primaries of his party, the New Patriotic Party. In his quest to represent his party as its flag bearer for the 2024 elections, Mr. Agyapong stated that if he won the party primaries and general election, he would utilize his initial 100 days as president to transform the mindset of Ghanaians. He said his presidency was going to develop tourism facilities and sites to make the country a go-to destination for tourists. On the creation of jobs for the youth, Mr. Agyapong described the youth unemployment rate as alarming, but indicated, per his track record of providing jobs to employ 7,000 people through his personal businesses. In November 2023, Mr. Kennedy Agyapong stood in the presidential primaries of the New Patriotic Party. He received a 37.4% of the votes cast by delegates, bringing him second to Dr. Bawumia, who was elected to lead the party into the 2024 general election. Mr. Kennedy Agyapong is contesting the party's flag bearer position with 4 other aspirants to lead the party in the 2028 general election. Majority of the populace view him as a controversial politician who claims to stand for the truth, irrespective of the subject matter.
So that's Honorable Kennedy Agyapong. I'm sure we heard everything that was said. KNUST, Adisadel, KNUST, I think First University, businessman, entrepreneur, has co-stores, some steel companies and all that, MP for 24 years. He took the seat from NDC and he held it for 24 years. And then when he bowed out to contest, the seat has gone back to the NDC. He's been a chairperson in Parliament for different committees. So he's a strong personality. We didn't mince words, like we said. He does not shy away from his criticism. He's open about it. He's an open and known advocate and a self-proclaimed crusader of truth. That's who Kennedy Agyapong has sold himself to us to be. That's who we have all come to understand and appreciate him to be. If delegates accept this, will he be the choice for today? Number 2 on the ballot is Honorable Brian Achampong. Honorable Brian Achampong. He's also a former member of Parliament and also a businessman. He's an IT person, so we'll also look at his profile. And right after the 2 profiles, my panel and I will do a bit of discussions and in terms of the profile of these 2 people. Then I will go to the next 2, and then finally the last one on the ballot. So please, let's have the profile of Honorable Brian Achampong.
Dr. Brian Achampong is a Christian and a native of Nkwetia in the Kowu East District of Ghana. Brian Achampong was born on November 27, 1972 in Suhum. He attended Achimota Primary School before continuing his secondary education at the Presbyterian Boys Senior High School, Presec, Legon. His time at Presec instilled in him a lifelong appreciation for discipline and service, with countless roles in leadership and organization of students' projects on campus. He served as a volunteer at the Tomney Orphanage in KWABENA after completing his national service, underscoring his commitment to service. Brian pursued higher education after his secondary school education abroad, earning a bachelor's degree and an MBA in business administration from Johnson & Wales University in the USA. Returning to Ghana, he acquired a PhD in information systems from the University of Ghana and a graduate diploma in law, with additional postgraduate studies in security and intelligence from Georgetown University, USA, and a Master of Arts MA in security and intelligence from the University of Leicester, UK, later complementing his expertise with certifications from Massachusetts Institute of Technology and HP University in India. Dr. Brian Achampong started his political journey as a grassroots activist who once served as the Chief of Staff at the NPP headquarters under the late Chairman Jacob Echebi-Lamptey, where his organizational prowess and strategic vision earned him respect as a unifying force. Brian then entered Parliament in 2016 after succeeding the late Peter Wiafe-Pepra, a Member of Parliament for the Abetifi constituency. Now a strong member of the NPP, Brian served as the Member of Parliament for Abetifi, serving in the 6th, 7th and 8th Parliaments. He had the opportunity to serve on several committees in Parliament, including the Food, Agriculture and Cocoa Affairs Committee, the Defence and Interior, Appointment Committees, Privileges and Immunities Committees, serving as a ranking member for the Security and Intelligence Committee and Chairman of the Parliamentary Committee for Foreign Affairs. Dr. Brian Achampong was the Minister for Food and Agriculture, Minister of State at the Ministry of the Interior, Minister of State at the Ministry of National Security, Emri Invest Ghana Limited, and CEO into IT. Dr. Brian Achampong's exceptional contributions to public service, agriculture, education, and philanthropy have earned him several prestigious recognitions. Thus, the Order of the Volta, Member Category 2024, which was in recognition of his significant contributions to Ghana's development. Commendation from Casapreco Company Limited in April 2020 for his instrumental support in Ghana's fight against the COVID-19 pandemic, and honored by Ghana National Association of Teachers in August 2021 for providing scholarships to members in the KWAU East District, reflecting his dedication to empowering educators and enhancing education. In 2025, Brian Achampong announced his intention to contest the 2028 presidential primaries of the New Patriotic Party (NPP). He made this declaration during a courtesy call to the leadership of the Presbyterian Church of Ghana, where he also sought their spiritual support in advancement of the party's internal contest. He joins the flag bearership race of the New Patriotic Party (NPP), which has 4 other aspirants on the bill, with a campaign philosophy about the people, unity and building a Ghana that works for all, with faith in God and the power of the people behind. Many believe as a first-timer and a grassroots person, he is a force to reckon with in the presidential race of the NPP.
Okay, so that's Dr. Brian Achampong. We'll go back to the NPP headquarters to connect with Morris. Morris, can you hear me?
Team there.
Okay, right. So I'll come in studio to have a quick discussion with my panel on the 2 aspirants we have presented so far. We've also been joined by Prof. ALIDU, as I indicated earlier. He's the MP for Tamale Central. So we would have a quick discussion about the 2 profiles. Right after that, we would look at the other profiles for now. So, Prof, since I've not asked you to welcome, so welcome to the set and good morning.
Thank you so much, and good morning to your viewers.
Good morning. I think this is your first time on this set.
Yeah.
Okay, so Afishapa.
I think about it.
Right. Powers,
Hello.
how are you doing?
Oh, my good guy, just shouldn't know.
Great. KWABE, good morning again.
A very good morning.
Right. So let me start with Powers. Powers, I mean, we've gone through the profile for Honorable Kennedy Japan. We've done that for Dr. Brian Echampon. When we mention Kennedy Japan to you, what comes to mind? What is your impression of him as a person, as a politician?
It's heartwarming when I was just listening to his profile. In fact, he has a very rich profile, and which many people do not know. Particularly, you remember when the presenter mentioned his educational background, Kwame even flinched. Yes. Kwame was thinking, when did he go to KNUST? When did he go to Fordham? But beyond that, KOJO, this is a man of controversy. He loves controversy. And I'm sure many of the major controversies in this country, he's been spearheading them. He's taking on pastors, he's taking on entertainment figures and other things. This is somebody who has shown that he's readily available to combat. He's combative anywhere and anytime. And you well articulated, he has represented these people well enough. He is nuanced in the political and the legislative affairs. He's a self-critic. I would say he's a self-critic. And self-critic is someone who is ever ready to criticize himself and his own people. And I mean, you rarely see this. You don't see this in the governing new National Democratic Congress. Because anyone who is criticizing the governing NDC, really taking on the NDC, is maybe either a former member or someone who has been suspended, a member who has been suspended. But Ken was serving as a member of parliament, yet he was criticizing his own government at a certain point in time. This is a man, you can well say that he's a man who can take on his own people when things are not right. And again, like I intimated, he is well educated. And I think this is something Ghanaians need to start reorienting themselves. Ken is not an ordinary individual. People feel that he's not well educated as compared to someone like the former vice president, Dr. Bawumia, who is described as an economist. But he has a well-grounded educational background. And he's someone that should not be, we shouldn't look at his business background to write him off educationally. He's solid and well-grounded. And he's also a well-grounded businessman. This is someone who has created hundreds of jobs in this country. There are a lot of people he's employed and he's paying. So he has a rich profile. I think he comes across one of the aspirants with a very solid profile. Yes.
I mean, considering that you have been in that space as a former running mate, yeah. So you know what it means at that level. Yeah. With everything Powers has said, with everything we've said with regards to the profile, and what it is that you know about Ken, yeah. Do you think to be at that level, he has what it takes?
Very tricky question.
I know, that's why I asked it.
I'll be as candid and fair as I possibly can. Truth is, I'm not so certain about the KNUST bit. I'm not, because I tried Googling and there are conflicting reports that unverified reports suggest that he attended KNUST and did engineering. However, what is in the tabloids, verified tabloids, is conclusive to indicate that, you know, there's a bit of doubt about the KNUST credential. I'm not sure. So maybe we need to hasten cautiously on that. But what I can say for a fact is that in terms of the Fordham and in terms of his Adesadel background, there is no contention. And so we don't have to argue on that. Now, leadership is about personality. Leadership is about how you view the aspirations of the people. Leadership is about understanding the plight of the people. Leadership is about building a certain connection with the people. And so if you're looking at somebody who can very well lead a political party that may potentially become the party that will elect a president. It is imperative that you consider all the very things that I've spoken about, and that those things must necessarily find expression in electing that particular leader to lead the party into the subsequent elections. Now, I'll be, as I told you, plain and fair as possible. I've followed politics for a while, and I can tell you for a fact that I am not sure that when Honorable Kennedy Akompreko Ejapon started his political life, he envisaged that he would get to this point where he would be contesting, to lead the party into an election. I'm not sure he envisioned it. Because if you look at his track record and the trajectory of his politics, it is telling of somebody who was never sure that he was going to get to this point. Why am I saying this? I'm saying this based on history and the things he himself has done, which things erroneously have been translated to mean that he is a self-critic, or that he is somebody who would criticize himself and by extension criticize his party, his own political party. He didn't know. All the things that he said, the insults that he rained on people, how disparaging he was in respect of remarks made about women, how condescending he was towards other people, how he insulted journalists live on TV, how he insulted women, how he fought with pastors. That is not somebody that I, Kwame Osudanso, sitting here without, and with great respect, I don't hate him, but I don't want somebody like that to lead me. Never. Never. I was brought up in a home where respect, decorum, candor, were seen as the values that should underline anybody who intends to lead. And I don't find that respectfully in Kennedy Ejapon. That is not to say that the party cannot go and elect him. In Ghana's politics, I think it has become clear to me right now that people are so concerned about the monies that they would get as opposed to people who genuinely have the country at heart. Politics has now become monocracy. And so you would notice that even in the context, and this brings me to Brian Achampong. Brian Achampong has openly indicated there are amounts of monies that he spent on the MPP, the people that he gave money to, and the investment in his own estimation that he has made in his own party.
Right.
So when he started the campaign, you would agree with me that that was his trump card. In fact, it was one of the most important heralding topics for him. To get the, if you like, the backing of the grassroots. Right. To be recognized by the grassroots as somebody who is a party financier.
So, that 1 minute, I understand one of our reporters is in there. So we'll connect with Alan. Alan is currently at, I think, Atomic. Alan, can you hear me?
Yes, good morning. Thank you very much. I can hear you very loud and clear. And once again, thank you very much for joining us here at the Atomic Park polling station. This is within the Domi KWABENA, the bigger Domi KWABENA or Dom KWABENA constituency. This has two different polling strings. So the park is divided into two. It's A and B. So it's Atomic Park A and B. And what we have here is a register that has about 1,600 delegates who are queuing up currently to cast their vote. What we picked up earlier when we arrived was that there was a 5-minute delay to start polls. And so it didn't start exactly at 7 a.m. as announced. It was started at 5 after 7. And ever since it started, we've seen rows and rows or queues and queues of delegates here making sure that their votes has been duly accepted or taken. Indeed, it is no news to say that this is the New Patriotic Party's presidential primary currently taking place, or today taking place, right across the length and breadth of Ghana. The significant, interesting thing about this particular polling center is that whereas it used to be one, in order to accommodate the numbers and also finish time enough to be able to collate and declare at the station and not as in the national collation, this had been split into two, and so you have the Atomic Park A and B polling strings or polling centers. To my far left, which will be where my camera is currently looking, you're looking at polling area A, and then beyond this you'd also see another queue in the distance, and that is polling area B. So what happens really when you arrive here is you join the queue. When you get to the front of the queue, you show your card, and then you're directed where to go, where you'll be giving the ballot paper stamped, and then you will move ahead. You move ahead and cast your vote in the polling booth. You will not be allowed to carry your bag with you to receiving the ballot paper. So your phone and your bags are taken away from you. The police officers, what you can see currently in your shot is an example of what I'm talking to you about. The police officers will take your card or your phone from you, and then you are given a number to bring back and collect your item. And so as part of the measures to ensure an open, free and fair ballot casting is that when you come in and you're carrying a bag, you're not allowed to go to the polling area with the bag. It is taken away from you. Once you show your card, your bag is taken to the side, and then you're directed to go to the EC official who will give you the ballot paper, and then obviously you go and do what you have to do, i.e. thumbprint it and then fold it accordingly as you're directed, and then you drop that in the box. I mentioned earlier that the register out here is 1,600 odd members, and so they have split them into two different polling areas, A and B, in order to facilitate a speedy as well as a fast kind of voting, so that by 3 p.m., as I am told, by 3 p.m. they can say all delegates, if not everyone, at least a good chunk of the number has been able to cast their votes. I have just moved towards polling area B, and I tried earlier to speak to one delegate to find out at least if he will give me an idea what we're likely to see, or how this particular center may likely vote. But they seem to be all tight-lipped. In fact, I have not seen anything that gives a certain impression that somebody is silently or covertly canvassing for a candidate. No candidates, either T-shirt or anything, any paraphernalia that points to the candidate has here been displayed. What again we have here exceptionally is that people who are fairly aged are giving a seat to sit down and wait their turn, and their queue is also separate from the main queues, and so you have senior citizens giving chairs, and then they are directed to go somewhere else to get their ballot paper and cast their votes. I'm still looking around to see if I will see anything. I'll see anything that will point towards anything else. And earlier, my camera was trying to catch something from a police.
Right, so we would also connect with Michael Nate. I think he's at BRAKO South in the Eastern region. He would join us by phone. Michael, can you hear me? Okay, let me come back to you in studio. So Kwame, maybe you wrap up for me so I can move to Prof.
Essentially, what I'm trying to say is that for the two candidates, I don't see anything that is so special about them. Brian Achampong, you recall?
No, I'll come back to Brian. I just want to do Ken across, then I'll come back to Brian.
Okay, all right. I thought you wanted to. Okay. So then, as for Ken, I think that I have I have exhausted all the things I wanted to say. But you know, in conclusion, just to say that I don't want a hot-headed, erratic leader. You know, somebody who does not, you know, look at situations differently. You know, somebody who is just erratic. I don't want someone like that to lead the MP, because a stronger opposition is important.
Right.
And therefore, who leads that opposition must be of interest to all of us.
Great.
So yeah, that's my opinion on
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. So Michael is ready. Michael, can you hear me?
Hello.
Hi, Michael. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, so please paint to us the picture at BRAKO South.
Yes. All right. Thank you very much. As you rightly said, the MPP presidential primary is underway in all the 36 designated centers in the Eastern region, and currently I am in the BRAKO South constituency, where they are having theirs at MA experimental primary. We are expecting 623 delegates to exercise their franchise here, and as at this time, about 100 people have exercised their delegates have exercised their franchise so far. Now the line, there are people are in the delegates are in the queue. The queue is very long here. The police people are also in the center. Making sure that the process goes on smoothly. So for now, this is what is happening here in the BRAKO South constituency.
Thank you very much, Michael. If any other development comes, please feel free to reach us. So back in studio. So Prof, being a person on the ground, a researcher, I mean, I'll ask you from an NDC point of view, because obviously I know what you would say. But being a researcher, what is the message on the ground when the name Kennedy Agyapong is mentioned?
Okay, thank you so much, and then good morning to your viewers. Before I speak specifically to Kennedy Agyapong as a candidate, I think this is a very important exercise, not only for the new patriotic party, but for the country at large. Because we have chosen for ourselves democracy as one of the principles of electing our leaders. And democracy usually comes with how deep political parties are organized and go about conducting their activities. So it is one of the most essential components of deepening democracy intra-party. And we believe that, I think in democracy, we believe that the person who is going to be elected as a leader of the MPP is not only going to be for the MPP, but it's a potential president of the republic. So we have to take a very keen interest in who is elected. But also, this is the beginning of the formation of what we call party government in political science. The people who eventually emerge winners and the way they move forward, the 5 people who have contested and their supporters could be the basis for what? The caliber of people who form the next government for the MPP. So I think the MPP has been very smart in streamlining who can contest. In the past, before the amendment of their constitution, as we saw in 2007, about 17 people came out. So streamlining this particular candidate to just 5 gives them the best in the party to lead. Kennedy Agyapong is one of the well-known household names in the MPP. He appears to be a very grounded grassroots person. He has been a member of parliament for Asin Central for several terms. And he has been able to build that level of network with his people And I think he won the seat at the time that he decided he was not going to contest. So that actually, the MP position that he held create that kind of constituency within the party for him. So he's somebody who is well-grounded at that particular level. He's also a businessman, as other presenters have mentioned. And that gives him that kind of corporate thinking to be able to run the affairs of the country. Perhaps maybe the way he runs his businesses. Right. So we have to look at the way his businesses are being run, whether they are profit-oriented, whether they are run at a loss, or whatever strategy that he uses. It's likely going to translate wholesale into the way he's going to manage the country. He's also a highly critical individual, as my other colleagues have mentioned, not only of the other political parties. I've seen him do more self-criticism than even attacking the NDC, that's the opposite party. So he seems to speak the mind of the grassroots and then bring his own government, people in his government to bear when it comes to level of accountability. He's also very maverick, conservative. Right. He speaks his mind. People believe he's a political realist. He says it as it is without sometimes even considering maybe the consequence. Others also think that being a political realist makes you a very tough leader when you are able to lead the party and eventually become president. But also people, on the flip side, people think that it also exposes you to a lot of committing mistakes and even incurring the wrath of other people. And we have seen it largely in the governance style of Donald Trump. But on the flip side, compared to the other candidates, maybe except Engineer KWABENA Japan, he hasn't had that kind of executive experience. Right. He hasn't been a minister of state. He hasn't risen to vice president or presidential level. So I think he has very little executive experience compared to parliamentary experience that he has built over the years. And he also appears unpredictable. It's very difficult to pin him to a specific character and how he may going to behave. In governance and leadership style, it can be very good to unsettle opponents, but it is also something that can pose critical danger when you are dealing with certain segments of the population. And he's often seen as a very controversial individual, you know, and it appeals to certain section of the party or of the voter population in the country. But on the flip side, others also see it as a kind of something that doesn't attract you to people who behave that way. But in a nutshell, there were two things I want to wrap up with. One, the MPP is not just electing a flag bearer. They are electing somebody who can be competitive when it comes to the NDC and the other political parties in 2028. Right. So one of the most critical things that the delegates should consider is not just electing a flag bearer. They just don't need a flag bearer. They need a flag bearer who is competitive, who is more experienced, and who has the pedigree to be able to compete with the NDC's candidate in 2028 and all the other political parties. But also, too, when you are looking at the whole concept of branding in politics, we just don't consider the brand of the candidate, but also look at the brand of the party that he's going to stand on, but also the brand of his policies or manifesto. So all the analysis we've done so far is looking at the personality of the candidate. Right. But how does the policies that this personality have can mitigate some of the weaknesses or even throw astray some of his positive base as a character. Right. So we also have to link the manifesto. So somebody can be a very controversial politician, but have very smart policies that can attract floating voters to him. Right. Somebody can be a very smart politician, but has policies that doesn't endear to the people. So we have to look at it. But the branding of the party is very strong. Once any of these five candidates is able to be elected, he's going to leverage on the goodwill, on the support base, and on the ideological front of the MPP as a political party. So that one is constant for all the candidates. So what's more critical and distinguishing to all of them is the personal trait of the candidate one, but also the policies that he seeks to implement when he's eventually elected.
I like the angle with which you've gone, how you've decided to look at it from two perspectives. Look at it from the perspective of the personality of the candidate, and also from the perspective of what policies, in that the policies can negate the negatives in the personality, and at the same time, the policy can actually even project the negatives in the person's personality. That's a good perspective to look at it. Lawyer ISHAQ. Yes. I know you are sitting in for Dr. Bawumia. Yes. So definitely, if I ask you what's your impression of Kennedy is, I know how it's going to go, but I'll still give it a try. So what's your general impression up until the time he decided to contest?
Thank you. Good morning to you, and good morning to the Elephant family. I think today is a very big day for us. I'm just entreating all members, as my good friend here and others have already said. It's democracy.
Right.
In democracy, we need to respect the rights of others. And for this reason, I'll urge all members, we should conduct it peacefully. At the end of the day, whoever emerges as the winner is the MPP that is going to win, is the good people of Ghana that is going to win. So for me, what we should actually do is cast your vote. That is the best way to express whoever you are supporting and not to go there to cause some form of violence. So having said that, yes, I support Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia for very good reasons. But it doesn't mean I hate Kennedy Agyapong. But as the saying goes, the thing speaks for itself. It's for this reason why some people who, I wouldn't say they don't have interest, but they don't have direct interest in the outcome today as compared to myself here. And yet, they are able to objectively say something about the candidate that makes him, how can I put it in a mildly political manner? That puts him the sort of person we should avoid voting for as our president. Professor ALIDU have mentioned a word maverick, and that frightens me, especially a weak developing country, to elect a maverick as your president. If it is maverick, it's more or less like combining the personality traits of Donald Trump and Idi Amin. If such a person become a president and other Ghana armed forces...
That's a wild example to give.
Other Ghana armed forces, just like Trump did, to invade Burkina Faso or Togo. Militarily we are weak. We are not like a superpower. Let's assume somebody will say trace. Where are we going to be? By the end of the day, the Ghana armed forces would have to obey because they have sworn to allegiance to the president. By constitution, by our constitution, they ought to obey. So I believe electing a safe pair of hands, somebody who is calm and collected, and who would always rationalize, go through the merits and demerits of every decision, but not just to react and start implementing. And as my very good friend here have said earlier, the sort of people he has insulted over the years, he has not spared women, he has not spared pastors. Almost every well-meaning member of society has been insulted. The good people of the good MPP members has been insulted. He once said, I don't know why I belong to that stupid party. MPP, this was said to our MPP, simply because he wanted MPP to persecute NDCs or deny other members of political parties opportunities. And that MPP wasn't doing so. MPP was governing for all Ghanaians. And he saw that to be a problem. So most of his criticism of MPP is usually because MPP should have been treating political opponents in a bad way. So for me, and then the last blow that he did, I was very frightened, was when he went to Damango and criticized Bawumia for conceding defeat very early. That's why there was high tension across the country. That's why the NDC has prepared to visit violence in the remaining constituencies. Bawumia saw that as a statesman, it was in the interest of the country to calm tempers. He did his own mathematics and realized that there was no way he could win. In a good democracy, there is a need to do the dissenting by conceding early, having the interest of the country at heart. And he had the audacity to criticize him for doing that. That he would never concede defeat until the last vote is counted. And we want to elect such a person as a flag bearer and possibly a president of the republic. I'm very, very frightened about his ambition and his interests. For me, I mean, from what my friends say, he has changed simply because he's now looking for presidency. But I don't really think he has changed. His behavior now is like somebody with schizophrenia or bipolar disorder. In the morning, he goes that way. In the evening.
No, ISHAQ, are you not being too dramatic this morning?
His behavior. I don't mean he himself. No, but you can see that with bipolar disorder, I mean, it consists of manic and depressive symptoms. When they are manic, very happy, elated, they act nicely. In depression, they move more or less like a mood swing. For me, I want a president who is calm and collected, who reason in a pattern I can predict. I want to serve somebody that I know that if I disagree with him, I can say so to him without fear.
Right.
I was listening to some BBC documentary, and one of the reasons why Hitler lost the Second World War was simple because his own advisor and aide could not wake him up. When the German soldiers was being defeated in Poland, he was sleeping. Why would I want to have a president that I'll be afraid of him at all times? I should be able to disagree with him in cabinet if he's making a decision.
Right.
But you say that this man is not predictable. If I say to him today, he might accept it, or he might order I should be executed.
So pause on that thought. I'm going to Prof. Prof, I'm actually going to your constituency.
Just a minute, I beg you.
Okay.
I think lawyer, my definition of maverick was taken out of context.
I know.
Lawyer gave two extreme cases. I just want to read what it means. It says, a political maverick is an independent-minded politician who consistently diverges from their party's official stance, votes based on their conscience, and defies established political norms.
Lawyer did what he had to do to his advantage.
Extreme example.
Right. Examples. So we are going to Prof's constituency, Tamale Central. Our correspondent, Mutala Isa, is there with us. Mutala, good morning.
Yeah, good morning. Thank you very much. The Tamale Central Constituency polling station. We're coming to you from the Tamale Jubilee Park, and voting started here at about 7 a.m. and so far nearly 70 people have cast their vote. It started with the former Tamale Mayor Sule Salifu, who cast his vote and has left since. It's been a very peaceful atmosphere so far. There are nearly more than 50 police personnel are present here across the region. There are some 1,302 police officers who have been deployed, including police Robocop units to ensure law and order. I have just dropped the regional EC director, Lucas Hiliel. He's here with us. I want to pick a few words from him so he can continue with his monitoring. Director, thank you very much. You're live on Ghana Television. What can you tell us? You've just arrived at Tamale Central. Did you go elsewhere before coming here? What is the situation on the ground?
The situation is peaceful and orderly. We have taken enough time to train our officials, and this is just a delegate election. So the number is not huge for us to have difficulty to manage. So, and our people are also professional. They started well, and I hope everything that started well will end well.
Do you anticipate any challenges going forward?
No, we don't expect any challenges. We don't expect any challenges. And as I said, the number is manageable. It's not a huge number. And we have also taken the best of our staff to take care of this election. So we don't anticipate.
3 days ago that this will begin 7 at 2 o'clock. Are you still certain that it is very possible at the rate at which the voting process is moving?
Yes, as I told you the other day, we are working with the party guidelines. We have our law, but this election we are using the party guidelines to conduct this election. And the guideline says we should start 7 a.m. and end at 2 p.m. So by even 12, if all the delegates in the registers finish voting, we have to wait till 2. And the 2, if there are still queue, as we normally do in the normal voting, the security will stand at the last person, and that person who is in before 2 will cast the vote before we start the counting.
Lucas Iliel is the Northern Regional Director of the Electoral Commission. across the region. There are some 12,474 delegates spread across 19 polling centers. There are 18 constituencies here. Each is having a polling station except Tamale South, where they have to split the center into two centers because of the numbers they have there. We are told that they split them due to the numbers to enable them finish within the 7 p.m., the 7 a.m., 2 p.m. Plan to get this done. So far, it's been smooth. I was at Lamashegu, which is for one of the Tamale South constituency centers, and then now we are at Tamale Central. It is a smooth exercise so far, and we are hoping that this will continue till the end of today.
Welcome back. Coming back in studio, we would do a quick review of also Dr. Brian Acheampong. Then no, I'll come back to you. I'll come to you. I'm going to start with you, so I'll come to you. But in the meantime, we'll also be connecting with our correspondent in Central Region. I think he's in the same constituency as in Central, if I'm correct. So we'll come to you immediately. We are able to connect with him. So yes, lawyer. Yes. So and then zoom into Brian Acheampong for us.
Yes. So when you look at the way he has also conducted his campaign, it's quite. I mean, it's quite good. Bawumia is Bawumia.
No, now we are doing Ken. We are jumping to Bawumia.
No,
Ken them
just
Brian.
it's quite good. You know, his fire has been directed towards Bawumia. Do you understand that? I'm still with Ken. Okay. I'm just talking about the way he conducted his campaign, directing most of his fire towards Bawumia.
All the four have been directing towards
Bawumia. But Ken fire has been quite fierce. So you can see Bawumia is really Bawumia, calm and collected. Right. But if it had been any other person, maybe the return fire would have been huge. And he marketed himself more or less as an outsider. How can you be an outsider when you were the chairman of the Defense Committee in Parliament? You were the board chairman of Ghana Gas. And you had also had several board membership. This is not an outsider. And even that, look, you are claiming that somebody has failed. Yet, as the writers say, you have consistently won your seat. But what happened when you left? We lost the seat to the NDCs. I mean, this also points to some weakness in you. For me, our loss was a collective failure as a party. Conditions did not favor us. It has nothing to do with the candidate. So the way he conducted his campaign, I think is just wrong. And I'm so happy that today the delegates have the opportunity to reject them. Yes, with Brian Acheampong, as you also said, the way he also conducted his campaign from beginning, I might say he changed. He was quite divisive from the very beginning. They say that his campaign was directed towards Bawumia, and it was like, this is an outsider. And he lost because of Islam, he lost because of the northern factor. And I think some well-meaning Ghanaians have spoken to him. He seemed to have listened a bit. But as I said, he also have some bipolar traits. In the morning, something else, he could easily revert back. But he has some experience. Yes, he's in Parliament. I mean, he was Parliament, Minister of Agric, and I think Deputy Minister of Interior at some point. He was also at the Jubilee House. So he's part of the reason why we haven't lost the 2024. But he seemed to have taken himself outside. So he is part and parcel of it. In terms of his personality, whether he will be a good president, I think as compared to Bawumia, he is not. So let's do the comparison between the two. As compared to Bawumia, I don't think he stands a chance. He's not a household name. It will take a lot of time. We'll probably need about 10 to 16 years of marketing for him to get known to the rest of the country. I understand he has not been able to go to all the 275.
So far, he's the only one who has gone to all the 276.
Has he?
Yes.
Okay. But he has also been exaggerating quite a lot, so we have to be careful about that. The money that my friend was mentioning, I think he tried to mention it before you stopped him. He said he has been helping a lot of people. I mean, especially in the eastern region, most people said they didn't receive the help. So, I mean, he need to find out who was he really helping. And does that mean if you help, you need to be helped to become president? Were you doing it because of your presidential ambition? Or you were doing it because you think MPP was the right person?
I think the reason why, and probably let's put it in context. I remember that when he started his campaign, he was not going in that tangent. It was when the delegates started asking him, what have you done for this party? What has been your contribution? That's where he started trumpeting how much he has spent. So if you put it in context, it doesn't come across as if he was blowing.
So he was responding to
specific questions.
Okay. So for me, there are some reports too he was also in the American Army. Though he himself have not been highlighting it, but so he has mentioned it to a few occasions. If my future president have sworn an allegiance to a foreign army in the past, I'll be worried of him. Why would somebody who has served in a foreign army, especially an imperial army such as the United States, and wants to be my president? Why? So for me, it is I'm not sure why Ghanaians have not been highlighting that. Some country, this will be a killer blow. Right. So for me, he need to clear that aspect up. If you have sworn allegiance, you're not only if you were just a dual national, I understand. But to have sworn an allegiance to a foreign army, an imperial army, with my country being have suffered colonialism in the past, where is your allegiance? Can you easily switch such allegiance? I doubt it. So for me, if it was Ghana army, that would have been a plus, but an imperial army such as the United States, that should be in the minds of the voters.
I'll come back to you to understand why, with all this, still MPP even considered him for him to even get to this point, because this is a very foundational ethical issue that you've raised. But Prof, Dr. Brian,
I think he seemed to share similar qualities with Kpandai Japan, but there are points of departure. So he also presents himself as a businessman, somebody who has been able to build businesses and has the skills of going mines and turning things around.
Okay, so Prof, hold on for me 1 minute. I understand that the Honorable Kennedy Ohene Japan just finished voting at his constituency. So if Kingsley can hear me, Kingsley is at Asin Central. Kingsley, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, please, over to you.
Well, thank you very much, and you are welcome to Asin Central, where the exercise is taking place at a polling station that is known as Centenary. That's the polling center here. I am told that here we have 548 candidates who are expected to turn out here to come and cast their vote. As I speak with you, I can say approximately about 123 people have cast their vote. Why this center is very important or quite important is the fact that it is the center of one of the candidates who are contesting in this, and that happens to be Honorable Kennedy Ohene Japan. He is voting here, and as I speak with you, he has already voted. You will see in your shot Honorable Kennedy Japan casting his vote at this particular center. We spoke with him, and he looked so enthusiastic. And of course, I will have to find out from him whether so far he's okay with the process and the procedure so far. And he seems okay with the process so far. And according to him, if it will go as he has seen here, then of course there will not be any problem. And that's exactly what all of us are expecting. But briefly, let me take you through what is happening across the central region. In the central region, the voting is taking place in 29 polling centers. 29 polling centers. And somebody may ask why? Because the constituencies are 23. But here, the region, the centers now we've been given to by the Electoral Commission is 29. This is because for Cape Coast, for instance, we have two centers, that is Cape Coast North and Cape Coast South. Because it is big, it's divided. So there we have two centers. When you go to a place like Agona SEIDU, that's the Agona West constituency, there, even though it's one constituency, because of the nature of the constituency, it's been divided. So they are going to have two
No, if you see victory. I don't think no we hope it doesn't happen to you. And more than rigging and everything. So I expect fair contest.
And at some point of the campaign, it got a bit hotter and tighter. After this polls, if you emerge as victorious or otherwise, what is the assurance that the party will be able to come back together, form a unified front, and then go into battle in 2028?
I don't think it's an issue because we're all going to come together as one party and work. So there shouldn't be a problem at all. And you should, as for contest, you should expect that sometimes it gets very tough and certain words are used which are not palatable, but hey, you have to take it as it is. And that doesn't mean you should go out of the party. So I hope if I'm the winner, I will be able to bring the party together.
Okay. Some delegates are done voting, others are yet to. What would be your message?
Right, so we'll go back to the head office. Morris is speaking to the General Secretary of the New Patriotic Party. So Morris, if you can hear me.
They are all politicians. They understand in contest, you may either win or you will lose. Whichever way it goes, you have to accept it, no matter how painful it will be, because to go around the 16 region with the hope that you may win, and it does not turn out to be that way. Certainly, you may not be happy, but you understand that it's part of our democracy. But I must take this opportunity to commend the Ghana Police Service and also commend the Electoral Commission. So far, the processes has been orderly, very smooth, and we are anticipating that it will end in that same vein. And after 2 p.m., then the Electoral Commission should be able to start the process of collating the results and go further to also declare who emerges as the winner.
Looking at how fierce and intense the campaign process has been, will you say your party is in a position to unite into 2028?
Well, yes, certainly so. Because this is not the first time of our going to a contest. We have seen more fearsome contests than even what we are witnessing today. But like I indicated, all the 5 aspirants understand that it's part of the game. At the end of the day, only one person will win. And when that person wins, we don't have any polarized teams. We don't have any camps within the party. We all rally behind the person who will emerge as a winner. And we need to close our round because this is not the end. Our main target should be 2028. And none of the aspirants so mutu can win the elections in 2028. We need the support and cooperation of all stakeholders in the party.
Finally, before I let you go, someone raised concerns about discipline within your party. They say that justice has been selective. What will be your response?
Well, it depends on the angle and how you want to interpret it. I've been fair, I've been neutral. But at the end of the day, you must understand that when you are going to contest, that perspective alone creates polarization within the party. And when people are aligned to certain camps, any decision that you take, whether it favors them or it does not favor them, will depend their response. But after this contest, I believe we will not have issues whereby we give directive and certain people will think that it is being inured to a benefit of a candidate A or candidate B. But the MPP is stronger. And at the end of the day, I can assure you that we will close our ranks and soldier on for the victory in 2020.
Thank you very much. Justin, PP, he says that the whole process has been smooth thus far, and indeed here at the party headquarters, the environment very calm, delegates coming in one after the other to cast their ballot. This is where the victory speech will be delivered. So later in the day, when all the results are collated, the Electoral Commission will declare the result at the EC headquarters, and then the winner will be here. Few words of victory to the many.
Okay, so in back studio, Prof, so back to you.
So I was making the point about the business skills that has been, by Champon. And people believe that if he's able to manage very well businesses, create opportunities for the youth, he's likely going to do the same when he eventually emerges as the flag bearer of the MPP and eventually the president of the republic. But also, if you look at his academic credential compared to Kpandai Japan, I think he's gone very high with a PhD at the University of Ghana Business School. That is a plus for him. And the kind of rigor and critical analysis such an academic enterprise takes you to do prepares your mind to be very critical in the governance process. He's also somebody who is a member of parliament and has been able to build a direct contact with the delegates and the grassroots of the party, and he's still the member of parliament for, I think, Abitifi, right? So that gives him that sort of local connection, local link, and makes him a grassroots person. But he has also had executive experience. So he's been the deputy minister for defense and then the minister for agriculture. The last, interior, right?
Yeah, interior.
Deputy, deputy, national security.
National security deputy.
Okay. Deputy and then minister for agriculture. So that gives him that kind of political executive experience, even at the lowest level, to be able to climb higher the ladder of being the president. But as I mentioned earlier in my analysis, the MPP is not electing a flag bearer. They're electing somebody who is going to compete with the NDC and other political parties in 2028. So when you compare somebody like Bai Champon to, say, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, you see that he's relatively unknown in the party. If you look at his exploits, his visibility and those things, it's very low compared to maybe somebody like Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. Even though I do understand it will take a lot of time to be able to market him. But it's also good in the sense that the NPP has taken note of this and they are doing a very early primaries. I think election that's going to be held, say, November, December 2028. They are already electing their flag bearer in January 2026. So there's still ample time, if they really eventually elect him, to be able to market him. But there's also ample time for him to commit mistakes and make a lot of errors that can also end his political career. But when you look at the element of visibility, I think he ranks low when you compare him to somebody like Bawumia or the other candidates. But also, he comes from the party stronghold. You know, Eastern Region is one of the strongholds of the MPP. So that is also a plus, and that's something that he can use to market himself as part of the campaign. Once we get the whole region rallying behind him and then getting other regions to rally behind him, it puts him on a very high competitive position. But like I mentioned in my last analysis too, that is just analyzing his trait as a leader and his potential capability. But the platform that the MPP as a party will offer him is something that can shoot him high if he's eventually elected. But I haven't seen much of his policies, what he has for the MPP delegates and the MPP membership as a whole, and broadly Ghanaians when he eventually going to contest. But once we were able to know what he has promised and what he intends doing, then we could look at it vis-a-vis what Kpandai Japan has promised, and we look at their track record, whether their experiences in the past put them at a position that they can dispense these promises that they are making. But I think if I compare him to Kpandai Japan, I think Kpandai Japan is more visible, more popular in the party than him. And when I compare him to Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, I think he will need a lot of marketing moving forward.
I mean, today, the percentages each of them will get would indicate their popularity in the party. Because the people who decide popularity in the party are the ones taking the votes today. So if you get more than 50%, it tells you how popular you are in the party. If you get below, it also gives you an idea how popular you are in the party. We are going back to the headquarters. Morris is speaking to one of the party officials. So, Morris.
Of communications and a member of the Ken campaign team. Welcome to GTV.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Very much confident your candidate is winning.
Yes, we're winning. You will see. The majority of the MPP delegates have decided that they're going to vote for Honorable Kpandai Japan because they want power. They don't want just a presidential candidate. And you can see today that people are quite moving in and voting, casting their vote. It tells you the atmosphere. It tells you the mind of the ordinary MPP voter. And today you're going to see clearly by 2:30, we expect that the former flag bearer, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, should come out clearly early to come and concede defeat, because you know that what he did for John Mahama, you can do the same thing for us, so that he can come early and concede defeat, so that we can move on as a party and bring our a new flag bearer here to come and give his victory speech. So that's what we're expecting from Dr. Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia.
And what happens if your candidate doesn't win today?
We know that. We know from the projections we are winning by almost 56%. So we know that from the projections, there's no way Dr. Bawumia will win these elections.
But the polls do not suggest same. Major polls do not suggest that your candidate is going to.
The first time Donald Trump was contesting for election, all the polls were all against him. Even the Shasha, all the big posters in America were all against him. But the skeptics, the ordinary Republicans voted for Donald Trump to become the new leader of the party. So forget about the polls. We believe in the delegates out there. We believe in the ordinary delegates, and we know that they're going to vote for the new flag bearer, Honorable Kennedy Japan, because the ordinary people out there are pushing. It's the ordinary people who are pushing, the MPP voters out there who are not delegates, who are pushing that we should bring Kennedy Japan. The ordinary voter who are there are pushing that we should bring Kennedy Japan. And that's exactly what the delegates are going to do today. It will be the shocker of the century. You will see it today, 2 p.m. You will see the results trickling in, and you get the shock of your life.
But you as a person, I mean, if Dr. Bawumia wins, are you willing to?
We are not there yet. We cannot cross a bridge.
And work with
we cannot cross a bridge when we don't know exactly what is up. But I'm confident that my candidate is winning the elections. I am confident, 200% confident, that Kennedy Japan will win this election. Why am I saying that? Last time that we went into an election, he came in at the 11th hour as a candidate. Remember, the whole establishment, including the government machinery, were behind Bawumia. He was able to garner 37%. If you were somebody who's a watcher, political observer, can't you see there is something there? We took a candidate to an election. He performed abysmal in the history of MPP. And that tells you that the delegates are not, they know what they are looking for. And definitely they are going to vote for Kennedy Japan to lead the party.
But if he wins, that will be his first time. Yes. And so, I mean, your opponents have said that he's not been marketed that much
Kennedy Japan is popular than
Dr. Bawumia.
Kennedy Japan is popular than Bawumia throughout the country, who go through the nook and crannies of this country. Why is it that in the street, everywhere you go, they are saying, bring Kennedy Japan? If you don't bring Kennedy Japan, we are not going to vote. Why are the taxi drivers are saying if it's not popular? Why are the Gen Zs on social media saying that we should bring Kennedy Japan? Why are the market women in Kumasi, Bantuma, calling for Kennedy Japan to come and lead the party? So it tells you that something is going on. He's popular, and he's going to win these elections.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
NSO Subempa is a member of the Ken campaign team there.
Right, so back in studio. So, Powers. So there's a school of thought that says that Dr. Brian actually is not aiming for the 2028 elections. Everything he's doing is just marketing himself for the future. What's your take on that?
Well, before I zoom on that, I think it is important to point out that the outcome of today's primary will not be the only measure of the popularity of the winner. It will be one of it. It won't be the only measure.
Right.
Because it may so happen that it's because if you feel that the popularity is measured by just the number of delegates who are able to mention a particular name, you miss the mark.
Okay.
It will be more than that. They will go beyond who is known, who is on the lips of everybody.
Okay. So I think the question was, who is more popular in the NPP, not in the nation?
No, so that I'm saying that in measuring popularity, it's not about the person who is a subject of conversation, or who is predominantly the subject of conversation, or who is being talked about by many of the delegates. But so the popularity may also come across as whether they feel that this person embodies the qualities that they want in a leader.
Yes.
So it's not really about the person who is known.
Yes. But so if person A embodies the quality, and as a result of that, they decide to vote for that person, does that not go to confirm the fact that this is the person that all of us feel can take us to the promised land?
So could you just take this scenario? You know, the U.S. system they have the popular vote and they have the electoral college.
Yes.
So take the popular vote as the one who is very popular.
Yes.
And the electoral college vote as the one who is chosen by a select few. So I'm saying that the one who is popular, who is known, whose name is known, may not actually be the popular person.
Okay.
Do you understand? So, in determining popularity, we shouldn't be looking at whether the person is talked about, is a one, or his name is on the lips of the delegates. We should go beyond it. There are qualities people may look. You may be known, or people may talk about you, but they may not give you their vote because they don't feel that your popularity, so-called popularity,
is what they need to.
I mean, is within their mindset.
That's fair.
The thing is, Brian comes across as an all-rounded person. In fact, he has a nuanced understanding, a nuanced balance of skills and experiences. You know, he has a string of businesses, and funny enough, he appears to shadow between technology and even, I think he has, okay, so let's say, he has a bit about technology, he has hospitality, the media, he also owns a football club. That he has, so this is a business thinker. In fact, he's a strong person when it comes to business, and you know, he can connect to the grassroots. He has an NGO that empowers the grassroots. In fact, when you go to the Eastern region, I think after the former president, he's the second most popular person in the Eastern region.
Right.
And he's young. In fact, he has so many years ahead of him. If I'm looking at the contest, he's energetic. And I think Brian marks the future face of MPP. So I agree with a section of Ghanaians who are saying that Brian is only gunning for 2030, or he's preparing himself for a future contest. I agree. And I think he's a face because he is someone whom the NPP can use in the near future. But he must be measured because, you know, some of his public commentaries during the reign of the former president, were unsavory. For a young person to be doing that and at a point saying that when NDC wins, then opposition, National Democratic Congress wins, the government was not ready to hand over power. Such commentaries, public commentaries, should not be coming from someone who is aspiring for such a graceful office. I think beyond that, he should now be measured. He should control himself. But looking at all the skill sets, the experiences, I think he is a future of MPP.
Right.
He's an asset the MPP must protect and guard for tomorrow.
Right. Okay. So before we transmit to a correspondent, I'll just probably take a short one from Kwame, then I'll break and go. So Kwame, a quick one, just 30 seconds, then I'll go to the headquarters. On Brian, what's your take?
I don't think that my views are entirely different from the views expressed by my colleagues on the panel. It is instructive to rather amplify the excesses that Brian does bring to the table. Indeed, one of the darkest moments in our political history, or our democratic trajectory as a nation, is the unfortunate incident which occurred during the OWUSU West Wuogon by-election. And I will never forget that because I was one of the people who were very active in organizing demonstrations against the actions and omissions of the then Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo administration relative to the unfortunate, incidents which occasioned during the OWUSU West Wuogon election. And the person who was primus inter pares in that was Brian Achampong. You cannot take that, and that's a stain that will forever be stuck to his name.
How was he the primus?
Oh, didn't you read the report?
Tell me.
Oh, no, I won't tell you. Go and read the report.
No, but once you have alleged, yes, you have read the premiers.
Please. This one is public knowledge. You are a lawyer.
I'm not saying that. Just educate our viewers.
It is public. I don't want to remind Ghanaians, they know. you understand? It's public knowledge. I don't need to rehash or regurgitate anything. We all know his involvement or his alleged involvement in, what became a bloody electoral process at OWUSU West Wogon by-election, where we saw armed thugs parading themselves as security operatives, rain mayhem on, Ghanaians who wanted to exercise their democratic right of choosing their own member of parliament. So I don't think that he's going to be able to run away from that. Now, also, if you do recall, prior to the 2024 election, Brian Achampong, not on one occasion, but on many occasions, stood on platforms, pontificating quite forcefully that the MPP was never going to hand over power to the NDC. Never going to hand over power to the NDC. I mean, this is somebody who wants to lead the country. This is somebody that people are touting as being strong-willed and strong-minded. This is somebody who was once upon a time in the military, not in Ghana, but in the US, which military, training gives them that discipline and the ability to appreciate and decisively, deal with situations which situations may even be injurious. So for somebody like this to make such comments, I don't think that I want a leader like that. To be honest with you, I'm not a member of the MPP, but eventually, if he were to be elected as a flag bearer of the MPP, he potentially could be the president of the Republic of Ghana. And I don't want somebody like this becoming the president of Ghana and possibly being given the highest, if you like, control, for want of a better expression, because then he will be the commander-in-chief, etc. So, so what I'm trying to say is that Brian Achampong also has a bigger baggage. That is not to say all the others don't. All of them do have baggages. Brian Achampong has his, but his goes to the heart of our democracy. That you are saying that when someone wins an election, you are not going to hand over power. That's a very retrogressive statement. And that is why people were even saying, I don't know whether you heard commentaries about a possible coup d'etat at the time. If you followed the political commentary, I'm sure you would have heard. People say that because of the pronouncements which were being made by the MPP, a lot of people were so disheartened that, they were even clamoring for a coup d'etat at one point. So I don't want somebody like that. Somebody who will be given the military and will come and be taking decisions and being erratic and hot-headed and things. I don't want somebody like that. Right. So, yes. And you see, Prof was making a point about personality vis-a-vis policy. Policy direction of the person. You see, Akufo-Addo was the worst, or is still the worst president in this country. Not because he didn't have the best policies, but because he had a personality that could not execute the policies that he himself put forward. So it is instructive to acknowledge that policy and personality have a symbiotic relationship to the delivery or otherwise of a president's plans. So it is important. We cannot decouple or detach the personality from the person's policy. That is why Kennedy Japan, because he personally thinks that he's created jobs, is now saying that he's the builder-in-chief. Why is he saying this? He's saying this on the basis of the things that he himself thinks he has done. And therefore, that is what the stills that he's standing on.
I think what Prof was saying is, so since you've used the Kennedy example, let me use that one. I think from what we had said earlier, that because of some of his public utterances, what Prof, and Prof, correct me if I'm wrong, is saying is that if indeed Ken is advocating that, look, I'll do jobs, and indeed he does jobs, it can happen that the job creation might make people overlook the bit about his public utterances. Prof, is that what the case?
To the relationship.
Okay. Right. So let me I'll come back, Kwame. But then Morris at the headquarters said, hello, Morris. Back.
Will you say that your party is lacking discipline at this particular moment?
As for discipline, it's quite dynamic, so you can't achieve absolute discipline. So almost every time you need to be working
at it. You see. So when I say discipline, I'm talking about we following process. If they are laid down processes, those things give validity to everything that we do. So if people breach these processes, then others will perceive that the system is not fair. And if it's not fair, they will not be loyal to the system because they are drivers of trust and confidence in political parties, one of which is process. So if due process is not followed, it creates a whole lot of problems. So when I'm talking about discipline, that's exactly what I mean. A lot of people, when they think about discipline, try to weaponize the disciplinary system against certain people they do not like, and that's not the point because discipline comes from disciple. It's correctional.
So will you say that that's what is happening currently in your party?
But there's a strong perception that the justice system is not fair. It's not applied evenly. And that is a problem. And it signals to people outside of the party that we're not serious because we want to be given the opportunity to govern. And so the only way people can see whether or not we are ready is the way we handle things within. So if you don't handle things properly within, you signal to people outside that you're actually not ready for governance. If you cannot follow your own processes, how can you assure Ghanaians that when the country is handed to you, you'll be able to follow the processes?
So will you call for a complete overhaul of the current national executive?
Well, that's not for me to say. I mean, we'll go through an election, and if the good delegates of this party decide that they want to change everybody totally, that's fine. What I'm saying here is that I want to run, and I believe that I have the experience to do that. I started as an organizer in the constituency. I became Greater Accra Regional Chairman. Even in between there, I was Secretary for Alliance for Change as a very small boy, working right through, Second National Chairman. I really know the party, and I started so young that I learned from the greats. And so here I am. I believe that the party requires a change. It needs re-engineering and it requires innovation. So you need someone who's actually done it before, not people who have passed other channels, but someone who's actually really done it before. The good and the bad, the person knows. The person doesn't have to think. The person really, intuition, he knows exactly what to do. And so
we've not really heard much about you and your aspirations to lead the party as a chairman.
For decades, we have helped businesses connect with their trade partners all over the globe. From Ghana to Burkina Faso, Côte d'Ivoire, Benin, Togo, Senegal, China, Morocco, France, Netherlands, and many other countries. We have made it possible to bring Ghana to the world. We have brought small and medium businesses closer to their customers across the regions in Ghana with our SME support facilities. We have brought relief and smiles to the faces of families with our employee personal loans. With our cutting-edge technology and digital support, we take the burden of complex thinking off you, making life simple. That is who we are, as close as a partner. Bank of Africa, we are indeed.
Direct Agenda is brought to you by Bank of Africa, the African bank with global reach. Bank of Africa, as strong as a group, as close as a partner. And National Petroleum Authority, NPA, where customer care meets excellence.
Welcome back. So we will have the profile of Dr. Mahamadou Bawumia and the former Education Minister Educhum back to back. And then we would have the discussion and finally finish off with KWABENA, AJ, Japan. So let's please have the profile of Dr. Muhammadu Bawumia.
Born on October 7, 1963 in Tamale, northern Ghana, into a family dedicated to public service, Dr. Muhammadu Bawumia pursued a path of excellence in academics. His father, Alhaji Mumuni Bawumia, was a respected diplomat and politician. Alhaji Bawumia played a significant role in the formation of the Northern People's Party, together with other northern political stalwarts such as SD Dombo, Yakubu Tali Tolongna, J.A. Brahima Kabachu Wora, and Mr. J.A. Nagba. They became the founders and kingpins of the Northern People's Party, which pushed for the development of the Northern Territory. Leaders of this party later joined force with their colleagues in the South to form the United Party, which is the political tradition of the New Patriotic Party. From an early age, Dr. Bawumia showed exceptional intellect and passion for learning. He earned a Bachelor of Science degree in economics from Buckingham University, UK, a Master of Science degree in Development Economics from Oxford University, UK, and a PhD in economics from Simon Fraser University, Canada. He has held academic positions as Assistant Professor of Economics, Baylor University, USA, Visiting Scholar, University of British Columbia, Canada, and Visiting Senior Research Associate, Center for the Study of African Economies, Oxford University, UK. He has also served as a Visiting Professor of Economic Governance at Central University, Ghana. As an economist and banker, Dr. Bawumia had a prestigious career, which includes serving as the Deputy Governor of the Bank of Ghana from 2006 to 2008 and the Resident Representative of the African Development Bank in Zimbabwe in 2011. Dr. Muhammadu Bawumia contested as running mate to the New Patriotic Party candidate Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo in the 2008 election. With this, the NPP increased a share of the vote compared to 2004 in other than 3 regions of the North in both the first and second round. Dr. Bawumia was re-nominated as the vice presidential candidate to Nana Akufo-Addo for the 2012 general election in March 2012. However, the NPP lost the presidential election to NDC's John Mahama. Dr. Muhammadu Bawumia has proven to be the most influential vice president in Ghana's history, having been selected as a running mate on 4 consecutive times: 2008, 2012, 2016, and 2020, and emerging as vice president in the last 2 presidential elections in 2016 and 2020 respectively. His starring role as the NPP's lead witness at the 2012 election petition at the Supreme Court is undoubtedly one of his highest points. Through his appearance at the Supreme Court, terms like pink sheet and "you and I were not there" entered the lexicon of Ghanaian politics. As vice president, he became synonymous with innovation and economic modernization. He spearheaded the digitalization of government services, championed financial inclusion through mobile money platforms, and promoted policies to strengthen Ghana's economic resilience with the objective of building Ghana's digital economy. Under his leadership, the Ghana card became the backbone of national identification. Mobile money interoperability revolutionized financial inclusion. The paperless port system improved efficiency and reduced corruption, while the digital addressing system formally identified properties nationwide. His initiatives transformed the economic landscape, opening new opportunities for businesses, farmers, and young entrepreneurs. As a 4-time running mate, Dr. Bawumia has endeared himself as a reliable partner for Nana Akufo-Addo and the NPP, campaigning to win power again for the NPP. His vision for a modern, inclusive Ghana continues to inspire a new generation of leaders. His campaign focuses on leveraging technology, empowering youth, and ensuring a resilient economy for all Ghanaians. Dr. Bawumia is a consummate politician who, in political discourse, believes in speaking to issues with data and facts. Dr. Bawumia presents himself as a candidate capable of continuing Ghana's economic modernization, technological innovation, and inclusive growth.
Dr. Yao Osei-Edu-Chum is a Ghanaian educationist, policy maker, and former cabinet minister whose career has spanned classroom teaching, global education reform, and national governance. With more than 30 years of experience in education, he has been a central figure in efforts to expand access to schooling and reorient learning towards science, technology, and skills for the future. Born in Jache in Ghana's Ashanti region, Dr. Edu-Chum began his academic journey at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, where he earned a bachelor's degree in land economy. He later moved to the United States, obtaining a master's degree in education management from the University of Laverne and a doctorate in educational policy, planning, and administration from the University of Southern California. He began his professional career in Los Angeles as a mathematics and information technology teacher at Manual Arts High School, where he became known for promoting innovative teaching approaches aimed at improving student outcomes. In 2004, he founded New Designs Charter Schools in California, a network of student-centered institutions serving junior high and high school students, particularly in underserved communities. Dr. Edu-Chum returned to Ghana and entered public service, becoming Member of Parliament for the Bosomtwe constituency. He was appointed Deputy Minister for Education in 2017 and later Minister for Education, a position he held from 2021 to 2024. During his tenure, Ghana's education sector underwent some of its most significant reforms in decades. He played a leading role in the implementation and expansion of the free senior high school policy, which widened access to secondary education nationwide. He also championed the development of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics education, overseeing the establishment of specialized STEM schools and the integration of subjects such as aerospace studies, robotics, and artificial intelligence into the curriculum. Another key policy under his leadership was the double-track system introduced to manage rising enrollment in senior high schools while maintaining educational quality. In what has been described as a historic milestone, Dr. Edu-Chum commissioned 80 educational infrastructure projects in a single day on 21st November 2024. The initiative, unprecedented in Ghana's education sector, was aimed at expanding access to modern learning facilities and reducing disparities between urban and rural schools. Beyond government, Dr. Edu-Chum has remained active in supporting individual students. Through his role as a Member of Parliament and the YOA Foundation, he has funded full scholarships for 150 students from his constituency to study engineering and medicine at Ghanaian universities, including the University of Mines and Technology. The scholarships cover tuition and stipends throughout the students' undergraduate studies. Graduates from the first cohort have secured national service placements at institutions such as Ghana Gas, Anglo Gold Ashanti, and Temahaba, where they are expected to contribute to key sectors of the economy. Dr. Edu-Chum is also recognized internationally as a thought leader in education reform. He has participated in policy workshops at Harvard Graduate School of Education and spoken at major global forums, including the UN Transforming Education Summit in 2022. His remark at the summit, "We can't memorize our way out of poverty," was widely cited in discussions on education reform in developing countries. He has also delivered address at Oxford University and UNESCO-related conferences. He currently serves as the ranking member of Parliament's Education Select Committee and remains influential in shaping education policy debates in Ghana and across Africa. In recognition of his contributions, Dr. Aduchum was awarded the Distinguished Citizen Medal by President Nana DANKWAH in December 2024. He has also received recognition from the United States Congress for his work in education. Dr. Aduchum is currently seeking the presidential candidacy of the New Patriotic Party, positioning education reform as central to his vision for Ghana's future. His career reflects a consistent focus on education as a driver of national development, social mobility, and economic transformation.
In every election, Ghana searches for leadership, not just charisma, but character, not just promises, but preparation. KWABENA J. Japon's story begins in a home steeped in public service. The son of a High Court judge, raised with discipline, faith, and an early sense that leadership comes with consequence. At Infantipim School, the values of duty and excellence were not slogans, they were expectations. Then, tragedy in 1982, his father was among the 3 High Court judges abducted and murdered, one of Ghana's darkest chapters. For a young engineering student, grief became a crucible. Trained as a civil engineer at Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology and later in the United Kingdom, J. Japan learned to build systems, roads, runways, infrastructure where precision is unforgiving and failure visible. From highways to airport runways, his work shaped physical Ghana long before he sought to shape its politics. But engineering was never his only language. For nearly a decade, he spoke to the nation through sports, anchoring primetime television, covering Olympic Games, telling stories of discipline, defeat, and triumph. Sports, for him, was not escape. It was metaphor. As Ghana returned to constitutional rule, J. Japan moved from commentary to political combat. In 2001, he stepped into the inner circle of power, appointed press secretary to President John Ejekun Kufuor. For 5 years, he stood at the crossroads of governance and communication, managing crisis, shaping message, defending policy at home and abroad. It was an apprenticeship in power, how decisions are made and how consequences are lived. In 2014, the party turned to him again, electing him General Secretary of the New Patriotic Party. But politics is not only accent. In 2015, he was suspended from the party. A sudden silence. For some, that is the end. For others, it is recalibration. He returned to engineering leadership, revitalizing professional institutions, restoring credibility, earning continental recognition. Away from the slogans, he refined a belief that Ghana's biggest deficit is not ideas, but its execution. In 2022, KWABENA J. Japan declared his intention to run for president, not as a messiah, but as a manager of systems, an engineer of governance. Away from the cameras, he is a husband, a father of 3, grounded by family, shaped by laws, disciplined by process. In a nation debating its future, KWABENA J. Japan offers a question as much as an answer. Can experience outweigh excitement? Can systems defeat slogans? Delegates will decide come January 31.
Right, so welcome back. So we are going to go around again. Basically, this one on all the three. Yeah. Let's not waste too much time so we can go into the data analysis also. So I'll start with Prof. So we'll start with Dr. Bawumia and end on Engineer Kpandai Japan.
So I think Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is one of the most widely marketed candidates among the 5 that are contesting. He has been in the political scene for over 20 years. I think he started in 2008. He has been a running mate for 8 good years, vice president for 8 good years, and then the flag bearer of the party in the last elections. He has contested 5 elections since he moved into the political scene. And he has a very solid educational background.
When you say he has contested 5 elections, clarify it so
as running mate 2008 to Akufo-Addo, as running mate 2012 to Akufo-Addo, as vice president and vice president 2016 and 2020, okay. And then as flag bearer.
So his face has been on the ballot once.
Yes, once.
He has been once. Okay, so that's the clarity.
But in terms of the contest, you see, you go. No, it's a ticket
for viewers.
Yes, it's a ticket. So he has been part of the ticket
5 times.
Yes, 5 times. Right. So he's a household name. Right. He's well known, and he has a very solid educational background. He has attended very strong, high-ranking schools. He has experienced and worked with that kind of skills. He's well known and respected. He's very humble. People like him for his humility and the fact that he's very down to earth, very practical, and very empathic. But one of the things people have used against him has been the fact that his point of departure, and indeed his very strong foot in the political scene, was his economic ability and capability. And I remember people have said that one of the most justifiable reasons why Akufo-Addo used to get him on board was the fact that we needed somebody who can take care of the economy. And there's no any other person apart from him, given the experience he has had and the remarkable work that he did as Deputy Governor of the Bank of Ghana. So, but if you look at the 8 years period that we've had MPP being in government, we've seen how the economy has suffered, and that actually made people to believe that it was more about, I think he couldn't bring his theoretical knowledge to bear on the practical aspect of the economy, especially as head of the management of the economic management team. And this has even become more clearer, given the 1 year that NDC has been in power and the relative stability of the economy, the exchange rate has actually magnified what was not done in the past 8 years, visibly, clearly. So that's one of the issues that could be look like a deficit, not just for the primaries, but moving forward into the May elections. That will be the issues that come up strongly. And people have also played this identity politics around him after the defeat of the party in the 2024 elections. One of the propaganda issues was the fact that because he was a Muslim, the party lost because he was a Muslim, and also because strongly he couldn't rally the northern vote and the Zongo votes and all those things. And definitely, if he eventually wins, that identity politics will play out strongly. And last but not the least, people also believe that because of his humility and demeanor, people think that he's not very strong-headed when it comes to decision-making processes, and that affects him. But apart from all these things, I think all the polls put him ahead, and I believe, I haven't done any polls, but I believe that if you aggregate most of the data, it seems to suggest that he's on the lead. And I'm also convinced that it may be true because the delegates that voted him, elected him flag bearer in the last election, hasn't changed. Right. It's the same there. Though people may change positions and swap a little bit or expanded, but it's still very clear that he's likely going to lead. Then the education minister has been relatively new. I think he came with the Akufo-Addo administration, but he has done a little bit well in terms of the educational sector, his ability to manage the free senior high policy of then government and then the school feeding programs, though there are a lot of issues that came with it. But at least to be able to implement those very forceful, outstanding policies of the NPP government suggested that he's somebody who can put theory into practice. He's also a grassroots person, manages a constituency, deals directly with the people. So he has a stronghold he has a constituency in the party that he can rely on to be able to move forward. But the other bit of the fight is just the school feeding program, how do you call it? the rotational bit of the free senior
double track
high,
system.
the double track system, and then the challenges that came with it are some of the things that people have used against him. But they also think that he's not so forceful in political domain in making his positions very clear.
Right.
And also there will be a little bit of challenge. Let me know. They will need more time to market him. And just like I said in the case of Bai Champong. But I also take consolation in the fact that at least the MPP have almost like 3 years to be able to market whosoever wins. Engineer Kpandai Japan is an astute, how am I going to say, a skills person. I think he's had a lot of experiences. I think he has been the leader of the Ghana Engineers Association, and he has been the general secretary of the party. So he understands party mobilization, party structures, the rules of the MPP, and the principles that underpin philosophically the MPP as a political party. So that gives him an edge. You know, he understands how to manage grassroots expectations and all those things. But he hasn't had that kind of practical executive experience. He hasn't been a minister of state before. I'm not even sure whether he has been an MP. Not. So technically, he's well versed in managing a political party. So when the political party transitions into government, how then does he continue with the management of the affairs of the state? So all in all, if you put all these 5 candidates together, I think Dr. Bawumia stands out.
By the time we leave, I'll let everybody do their prediction.
That's fine. So
we'll do a prediction in a descending order. Then we'll take it from there. Yeah. Kwame, the 3.
Well, the 3. So you're looking at Dr. Yao Educhum, Dr. Bawumia, and then Engineer Kwabena Japan. I think that I will not depart from the analysis of Prof, except to add that if you look at apart from being the education minister, I really don't know the role that he's played politically.
I mean, he said that he was out of the country. He was during one of the visits of President Akufo-Addo during his campaign. That he met him and told him that when he needs him to come home.
Yes, absolutely. But it's not enough for you to think that because you were invited by former President Akufo-Addo and because you were given a ministerial position, you are cut for presidency. It's not enough. He himself, I'm not sure, is really popular within the party. And so it will be a daunting task for him. It's a very, very difficult bridge to cross. And so for him, I really do not see him pulling any surprise by the end of the day. He's not really in the equation, to be honest. Then you look at Engineer Kwabena Japan. I think that he's somebody that I really, really do admire. If you look at all the candidates, he appears to be the one with less baggage, you know, and he's quite, shall I say, popular in the party, or he was popular in the party in the past. So let me just put it that way. You know, that for somebody who once upon a time was the general secretary of the party, means that he had a little bit of control, you know, within the party. But as to whether he was able to transition into the current structure of the party is another question for us to answer. And I'm not sure that we have answers to that yet. I think that as, I think, was it Prof or ISHAQ indicated, I think it was also you indicated, or I think it was Prof, that after the elections today, we will now see who has control or who has some level of influence in the party. So I wish him all the best. I have very little to say about Engineer Kwabena Japan. Then you come to Dr. Bawumia. I will be very honest with you, right? Dr. Bawumia ordinarily should not have been the leader of the party, ordinarily. Particularly because of the things that he himself did to himself. And why am I saying this? The MPP in 2016 won the election based on the proclamations made by Dr. Bawumia, that he single-handedly superintended over the campaign of the MPP, that he was more like the poster boy. He heralded almost all the things that Ghanaians wanted to hear. He did all of that. He was the man in the ivory tower but could also descend and mingle with the people and tell the people what they wanted to hear. He is the man who questioned every economic decision of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. He is the one who named His Excellency John Dramani Mahama incompetent, called him incompetent, and it became
his name.
So Dr. Bawumia was very instrumental. Let nobody deceive you. Very, very instrumental. What economists does the Akufo-Addo know? So, and you know, Ghana's economy largely, Ghana's politics largely is built on the economy. Everything is centered around the economy. So if Dr. Bawumia tells you that, oh, I'm an economist from this university, I have done this, was he the deputy governor of Bank of Ghana? You know, so he's somebody who was within the periphery of, if you like, economic, activities. He was a center, he was a pivot around which, NPP's economic campaign revolved, right?
If you follow the history of NPP, and I'm sure for those of us who have, in 2008, before, I think in 2007, the information is that he was even not the one that Akufo-Addo was contemplating. He was contemplating Hajia,
yes.
Alima. Yes. And then there was some background, which I can't see on there, but then there was some.
We all know. No,
and then he was all of a sudden, they woke up one day, and then there were some women standing in front of the NPP headquarters saying that they don't want Hajia Mahama, and then because of that, the U-turn happened. And then Bawumia came. Bawumia came mainly because at the time, MPP was moving from a HIPIC economy. Atamils was an economist and was speaking in that tangent. Akufo-Addo was a lawyer. And so MPP needed somebody to balance the ticket, like Prof said, who speaks in the economic language to let the people, because every time, for every elections, there is a theme. That election, the theme was economy.
And you're right.
And you needed somebody to come and speak economy.
Yeah, he's a lawyer. Yeah. But he was also an economist.
Yeah, but he was an economist too.
Yeah, he's an economist. Yeah. Tax law.
Eventually, yes. So
he has a nuance from a legal perspective. In fact, I've had the opportunity to reach his.
But I think he was. What was he at GRE then?
No, but he has a nuanced understanding of the economy.
But I understand he was working at the GRE.
The tax bait.
He was at the tax bait.
Okay. More legal.
Yeah.
Okay. But the discussion, the theme around that period was
economy.
Yes,
very central.
And so NPP needed somebody who appreciates it, and that's what the argument was when they brought in Bawumia. Like you said, he delivered. Albeit the first 8 years, the complaint was that he was too gentle, he didn't understand politics. He went back and he came stronger. And now it seems like MPP is also using it against him. It's like the party uses things they do for themselves.
There's a proverb that says that animals are trapped by their horns, men by their words. So whatever you say today will be used against you, will be used against you tomorrow.
The same way ISHAQ is using Ken's words against him. You're also using the Bawumia's campaign things against him.
So the point I'm trying to establish here is that, so that's why I said ordinarily, based on all the things we know, based on the benefit of history, based on the benefit of Akufo-Addo's administration, ordinarily, Dr. Bawumia should not have been the person that everybody is clamoring for. However, I think it's quite clear that if you put all these people together, if you do proper SWOT analysis, you look at their strengths, you look at their weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, it is evidently clear that the person who stands out is Bawumia. And you see, I need, and I've said it, and I'm going to regurgitate, that we need a stronger opposition. It's important. For the federals of our democracy, we need a responsible opposition. We need an opposition that understands the role of opposition. Which role is to put the feet of government to the fire of responsibility. Imagine that regardless of whatever it is that Dr. Bawumia had done in the past, that he is elected to lead the party, we will be able to have sound economic conversations in this country. That's a fact. That because of the possibility that NPP may give the NDC a run for their money in 2028, NDC will be minded when they are taking some economic decisions. Because as we speak today,
NDC appears to be having a field day, albeit that they are doing a very fantastic job. So right now we have nothing to say. But it's governance. And you can trust that at some point the rails will derail. And then we'll come back to having conversations about the economy. So you need an opposition leader who understands it and who will be able to what? To put the feet of government to the fire of responsibility. And I'm saying this because, look, and I consistently without fail told the NDC this, that you do not have to discount the possibility of MPP coming to power in the nearest foreseeable future. What wasn't said about His Excellency John Dramani Mahama prior to 2016? He was rejected. Rejected. But in 2024, Ghanaians polling parity with the performance of Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo have decided to bring him back. And he also has the benefit of experience. So he's bringing that experience to bear, which is why people are saying this is graceful leadership. This is impactful leadership, because he has the benefit of experience. So let's not discount Bawumia, because Bawumia is also bringing some experience, whether good or bad. Because as human beings, we all learn from the journey. And the journey will definitely not be smooth. When we are going to Kumasi, there are bus stops, not so. There are some potholes, not so. There are undulating roads, not so.
The new expressway would prevent that.
Well, whatever it is, the journey will never be straight. So Bawumia also has an experience,
right?
And that experience will come in handy when maybe, just maybe, but I pray it doesn't happen, that we begin having conversations about the performance of this government, this government in relation to the economy. We need that. And so responsible opposition is important. And we need somebody who will be a proper mouthpiece for the MPP, because what is happening in Parliament is an eyesore. What is happening in Parliament is an eyesore. We have irresponsible, leaders in Parliament leading the MPP. Irresponsible people in Parliament leading the MPP. Which is why now it is more imperative without more that they get somebody who will unify the front of the party and represent that arrowhead that will be able to bring alternative solutions that will challenge the status quo.
Right.
So Dr. Bawumia, for me, irrespective of all the SSs, irrespective of all the SSs, is the candidate that I, Kwame Osu, also sitting here, even though I'm not an MPP member and I will never be, right, would love for the MPP to elect, so that tomorrow, KOJO, we can have informed conversations, so that tomorrow we will be able to now contest some of the numbers. Right. That, as MUSSA DANKWAH, I'm sure will tell you, that tomorrow we'll be able to compare data to say that, well, you are doing well, but I believe that if you do X, Y, Z in addition to what we are doing, the dollar may come to 5 cedis. Not so? That we'll be able to have conversations and say, oh, inflation now is at 5.7%. But if we're able to do X, Y, Z, we can bring inflation to, let's say, 2%. That, yes, even though policy rate has been dropped to about 15%, if we did X, Y, Z, we can bring it down to a single digit of maybe 6. Those are the progressive conversations I want us to have. And in my respectful opinion, in my respectful, harmless, and humble opinion, the only person who can represent the MPP in doing that is His Excellency Dr. Bawumia. Right. Let's not kid ourselves. This is not just a contest of ideas. This is not just an internal party. Anybody who sees this as just an MPP internal party is not somebody who is interested in the forward march of this country. Right. Because the outcome of this is very crucial for the survival or otherwise of our democratic experiment. Right. Which is why I think that it appears I'm even doing campaign for Bawumia. But the facts are facts, and facts are sacrosanct. Facts are facts, facts are sacrosanct. So the MPP delegates, I think that they know what to do. I wish them all the best. But if you, and you said you're going to come down, but I think that, let me just say this, that even MUSSA DANKWAH's data supports it, and I trust MUSSA DANKWAH 100%, albeit that he himself, he doesn't trust himself because his margin of error, 3. But I trust in his data. That's what I'm saying, he doesn't fully trust because it's data, right? But the point is that based on all available data, based on commentaries, based on projections, it is quite clear, palpably so, that today is for Dr. Bawumia.
So, Kwame was making a very interesting point. Point he made about economy. Point he made about Bawumia being somebody who can give good information, give good competition, give good numbers, arguments, and everything. But if you look at it across, you will notice that all 3 deputy finance ministers under the SY administration are with another candidate and not with him. Does it not give some indication on all this talk about numbers, economy, being the one who can give that? I mean, you can speak to that one and then finish off with that for the other 2.
So, KOJO, I think it is, on this table, it is well understood that the conversations bordering on the economy, in fact, will drive the major debate going into 2028. And as it has already been said, this election should not be seen as just an internal contest, but one that will reflect the larger picture. Particularly, a delegate should be ready to elect a candidate who is appealable, the candidate Ghanaians will vote for. Someone who will endear himself to the populace, the electorate, the larger electorate. So it is important. Now, Bawumia appears to be the most popular candidate among the 5. In fact, I can say that among the 5, he's the most experienced.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Most experienced.
That's true.
He has executive experience. In fact, he was the face of the New Patriotic Party from 2012.
Yes.
From 2008. From 2008.
18, yeah.
2008 to date, he was the face of the New Patriotic Party. And I can say that apart from the former president, DANKWAH, and the other former president, Kufuor, he is the 3rd most influential person in the New Patriotic Party. So we can't write him off ordinarily. And he has experiences in the economy, finance, business, in fact, technology. In fact, at a point in time, he was talking about technology more than even the IT experts we know in this country. He was advancing policies, bringing them together. In fact, he was leading conversations around digitalization. So in fact, I can tell you that he did live the vice president life because he was visible as a vice president.
Arguably, he's the one who has brought more life
into
that space.
Exactly. Because legally, when you look at the constitutional framework, vice president, they are like the shadow of the president. But
he like deputy ministers.
Yes, like deputy ministers. But he flipped the coin. In fact, Bawumia was visible to the point, because the thing is that, in fact, DANKWAH could not hold proper conversation when it comes to economy.
Right.
Or economic matters. So Bawumia was doing more of the conversation. But that was where his challenges also started. Because they projected him as an economic intellectual and a reformist. But as Kwame and other panelists have said, the promised economic transformation did not translate into lived experience or lived reality. Which is why today many Ghanaians are saying that this man was projected as an economic transformer or messiah or intellectual. But the government in which he served ran the economy of this country aground. Fiscal distress, economic mismanagement. If you look at the DDP, the DDEP, many people had to lose their lives because of some of the pathetic and poor decisions they took, and because of how they mismanaged the economy. So Bawumia is coming into this election with the baggage of the previous administration hanging on his neck. Now he will have a lot of work to do. Convincing Ghanaians that even though I served in the previous administration and even though we run aground the economy of the country, I will be a better person if I'm elected. Now, Educhum, I think Educhum is an educationist, as you were articulated, is an educationist. He's well-mannered, soft-spoken, and at a point in time, he appears to be a tough talker. When it's time to talk, engage in tough conversation, he's somebody I can say that is really available to do that. But he has little political experience. I think he's more like a vice presidential material than a presidential material. And I may not know what is running through his mind, but I think that Educhum subtly may be gunning for vice president or a running mate position and not the presidential. So he's doing this to show up his popularity in the party. So it's good for him to do that. It helps his image. Now, KWABENA Japan is a good mobilizer. In fact, he has a solid understanding of the political terrain in this country. As you pointed out, he once served as a general secretary.
Yes.
You get it? And he's an experienced grassroots person. But the challenges he faced during the days of Afoko, when he was a general secretary, in fact, affected him greatly. In fact, his popularity in the party waned because of the challenges he faced. Because at a point, it was seen that he was more like, he was an opposition to the then presidential candidate, that was Akufo-Addo. So, in fact, I think he's somebody, I would say that he has not grown politically because of the challenges he faced. So, coming into this contest, I think maybe he should be gunning for some ministerial appointments in the event the MPP is able to win in 2028.
That's a hard one.
No, the thing is that his popularity in his own party is questionable because of the challenges he faced. Got the point that he was seen as a coup d'etat, a coup maker in his own party. An executive, a party executive campaigning against a party flag bearer. That was a message that was marketed or communicated to Ghanaians. So, in fact, he lost his grace, his political grace. So, if I were him, I would rather choose to support one of the candidates than contesting.
Right.
You get it? Because he has lost his political grace, and he's not seen as someone who will come across as a credible presidential candidate. So, I mean, among the three, Bawumia stands out. So, he's well experienced. For me, personally, I would love President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. But will Ghanaians love President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia? It's a question for the gods.
It's a question for 2028. Lawyer,
yes.
So on you, let's make it quick because I know you. I'll allow you to talk about Bawumia because we already know what you say.
You can pay.
So just please speak to the two, then we can move to the data, and then I'll give you an opportunity to do Bawumia when we get into the data.
Thank you very much. It will be unfair not to allow me for Bawumia.
No, I'll allow you eventually.
Thank you for correcting that. Yes. Yeah, I know, but his first statement frightened me a bit. So thank you. Yes, starting with Engineer Kpandai Japan. I've had the opportunity to interact with him. I think during the 2024 general election, I mean, I campaigned with him at Walewale, Nalelugu, Bunkpurgu, Yunyo, and Charpani. And he was quite close to Bawumia. So I was surprised that he had come out to contest. But then, in a democracy, individuals have personal ambition, and if he chooses to contest, so be it. Looking at his credentials, it's true that some of you have already picked up his party activities. He's good in organizing. So when it comes to organizing, he's good. But what I really had a problem, is he really a good organizer? Because you could see that when it comes to the filing. Because for me, organizing is not just physical activity, bringing the money. You could see when it come to the filing. I think he was the only one who was struggling to file. At some point, the money nearly became a bar for him filing, which I wasn't happy because I believe in a democracy. We need to open up for everybody. So if money becomes a bar. So I was very happy that the party was able to do something for him to be part of the bylaw, because it would have been one of the things that our critic would have gone for us. So that aspect doesn't communicate well when it comes to
I like the way when you said our critic, you started pointing to Prof.
So the fundraising aspect tells me that even in terms of organizing, there's a little bit of problem there. But perhaps maybe money is not really part of organizing, but for me, money has always been part of organizing. When it comes to the downside, he's not popular across the country. I'll be surprised he'll be more known, even Greater Accra. Perhaps Ashanti region where he's coming from is known. I don't know about that. But even in Greater Accra, I've got people who is asking, who is he, who is he? And some people then tie it, oh, was he not the guy who was suspended? So some of the party members still think something, he did something wrong previously. So that tag is still drawing him back. Right. So if we are to market somebody like this, we'll spend a lot of resources in marketing him. So if there are people who are already better known across the country, why go for somebody that will spend a lot of time? And if MUSSA DANKWAH data and other people also reveal that, it is for this reason that he's more or less at the bottom. Among all the 5 candidates, I think he is at the bottom. So that already tells us that if within even the party itself, he's not popular, he's not second, he's not third, then we have to present such a person to the country. Aren't we shooting ourselves in the foot? Right. For this reason, I think the delegates today, please let's not waste our vote.
So let's move to
going for him. Jim too, I think he's a fine gentleman. In fact, if Bawumia were not in the race, I'll be going for him. If Bawumia were not in the race, I believe I like his politicking. I've had the opportunity of listening to him several times, especially in 2024, when he met us to give us some data. I like the STEM education, and I think he did very well in California. It was for this reason that he was invited to join. The STEM education, in fact, I'm very impressed about it. And I'm one of the lucky people because one of my place I'll call my village, Kpandai, we had a STEM education, and it's already turning things around. This used to be one of the most neglected places. When I was young, we didn't have electricity. We used lantern. And to have people moving from Cape Coast, Takoradi, Accra, to come over there for senior high education. In fact, thanks to his ideas, I like that aspect of him. In fact, some people believe double tracking was a disadvantage. No, I think it did well. And the first time I realized that double tracking did a lot of good things was when I listened to this gentleman. Because some of the schools like Achimota and the Presbyterian had increase in intake thanks to it. And they had expanded resources to cover people who wouldn't have had opportunity to attend. And I think the free senior high school, as a minister, he had a massive role in it. Let us not condemn it. I mean, people from my area, there was increase in enrollment because of these things, thanks to him. Again, the drawbacks for him is that outside Businpe, how do I pronounce it? Businpe?
Businpe, yes.
Outside Businpe, even Ashanti region, I don't think everybody knows him. So across the country, so even if within his region, people don't know him, across the country, how are we going to market him? Even though I disagree with Professor that there is enough time to market them. No, some of these people will probably need 10, 15 years to market them across the country.
Interesting. For
that particular reason, I don't think he's the most suitable person given all these 5 together, especially when Dr. Bawumia in the race.
Right. So considering that you are for Bawumia,
yes,
I'll give you more time to speak to Bawumia. So that's the reason why I said I'll just leave it for the 2. But so to our viewers, I have with me here MUSSA DANKWAH. MUSSA DANKWAH, as we know him, He's synonymous, even though he doesn't want us to say it, with Global Info Analytics. He's executive director, and he's done a bit of work into this election, the 2026 elections, and then or the MPP primaries, I might say. So we are going to go through the data. We are going to look at what it is that the figures say. What is it that the predictions are saying? We would walk through the slides, and I'll be especially with my panel, for some follow-up discussions on some interesting parts of it. So, MUSSA, let me shake you across the screen. Welcome to this program. So let's go through your slides. First and foremost, let's look at the methodology. So if you can walk us through the methodology.
In the 4-week period that we did the poll, we interviewed 10,133. But each week, we were sampling 2,500.
Right.
And each day, we were polling 500.
Okay.
So 500 times 5, Monday to Friday, is 2,500.
Right.
Saturday and Sunday are excluded. And we've done that over a cycle of 4 weeks. The sample that we drew came from all the 16 regions.
Right.
And these are what we call the polling station executives.
So the popular delegates.
They are the ones that account for 90% of who are going to vote today.
Right.
We did not cover consortium executives.
The former executives and the former MCs and the rest. So these are the polling station executives.
They are the ones who elect the flag bearer today.
Okay. Right.
They are the ones we poll.
Okay.
We have their contacts in the from the album per every electoral area of the constituency. So the system will just go around and pull a number from a region, and that will be done in order of the size of the constituencies in the region. So the heavy constituencies will have more phone calls than the smaller ones.
Okay.
Like in the Ashanti region, you have KWABENA is one on top, and then you have Formina, the least populated constituency.
Right.
And so the sample will be drawn in that order, so that you don't disproportionate any smaller constituency to give me a big sample. That will tell you you are being fair in terms of the way the vote come. Our confidence level for the poll is 99.9%. We've always been doing 99, but this time we went a step further. 0.9. To get closer.
Right.
And that informed the sample sizing. It is the confidence level and the margin of error that determines what number you should engage, not the other way around.
Right.
But when it comes to our predictions, which is different from the poll, predictions are based on the polling data, and then you enhance it using other variables or other questions you have in the polling to be able to simulate and run a model to give you the predictions. So the predictions have higher margin of error, 3%.
Okay.
Which is still very good because globally most of them are 3%, 4% margin of error. So we haven't gone too far.
Okay.
It is computer-assisted telephone interview.
Right.
Delegates were called over a telephone and they were engaged in the conversation by our call center agent. They were engaged between 29th December and 23 January 2026.
Right. Okay. Does this include any of the people from the diaspora?
No.
It does not.
Remember, we mentioned that this is the polling station executives.
Right. That's interesting. Okay. So 10,000 probably forms about, let's say, 5% of the total polling station executive numbers. Okay. Let's just go straight to Let's go straight to the slide that one of the slides that on education.
Yes. Okay, here education.
Oh, sorry. What have I done? Okay, let me be sure of what I have done. Where's?
That's a slide.
No, I think this is the old slide we are using. Okay. Viewers, please pardon us. Okay, on the education.
We are here.
Yes, on education. Now I remember when this came on social media, there was an interesting debate. And here I would call my panel to also join here. Now, what this says is that for the delegates or the police station executive that you engaged over phone, this is a representation of their highest educational qualification. which means that 43% of the people that you engaged, their highest educational qualification is junior high school certificate. 34%, their highest educational qualification is senior high school certificate. 11% have no formal qualification, i.e. either they dropped before GHS or probably did not even attend at all. And then 12% are tertiary level. So indirectly, 88% of the people you spoke to, which if we throw on the general number, 88% of the polling station executives who are going to take a decision for who leads the country are people with SHS or below.
That would be 70, I think 77 or below, plus 11.
Below. So I added below. So that means, and this comes from my panel, 88% KWAME, Powers, PROF, and ISHAQ. 88% of the people who are going to take a decision as to who should lead MPP, a party that has been touted to be a party of intellectuals. 88% of the people going to decide who leads them are people with senior high school education certificate and below. Is that not telling on the kind of leader they will choose for the party? ISHAQ.
Oh, it's a question.
Yes.
I don't really think so. Let me explain to you why. I've had the opportunity of facing similar delegates in the Walewale constituency when I contested as an MPP parliamentary primary. You see, yes, by our tradition, you would have probably said people who are more intellectual leaning will be supporting that. But you have to also remember that you are in a democracy and we are having universal suffrage. By universal suffrage, every Ghanaian should be given the opportunity to participate in different levels. And the polling station, especially in the rural area, this is the more reason why we introduced the free senior high school. A lot of people in Ghana are still disadvantaged. And if they are disadvantaged and they still form part of the body people of Ghana, why do you exclude them? Okay. So I don't think it's an MPP.
I see.
It's a Ghanaian.
I see my panel is writing a lot of points. I'll come back to you. But I see Prof is ready.
So it's a Ghanaian thing, not an MPP problem. It's a Ghanaian issue.
Okay.
And they form part of the people of Ghana.
I'll come back to you and I'll push you on this one.
Okay.
I'll allow Musa to flow. But Musa, do you think this in any way influenced their decision and their choice of candidates?
I wouldn't use that to describe it, but it would rather have influence on the strategy the campaign uses to reach these people, to convince them.
Right.
It simply means that you cannot be too academic when it comes to delegate. You can't be too intellectual when it comes to this delegate. And even if you want to be intellectual, you must bring that issue to a level that will resonate and make sense to these people.
Right. So what it means is that all this big talk about economy and all those jargons, for these people, they want you to come down and explain to them how it affects them.
Yeah, and
what
how,
is the practicality for them.
And what you do, see, when you go down the grassroots and so I promise you a job when I become president, when I become a leader, the guy knows that his highest qualification is junior high. He will not get government appointment with junior high qualification. Right? So what kind of job are you looking for this guy? You must figure that out. Or maybe he may be the one looking for a job for himself, but for his son or his brother or sister. So the promise must be different in a way that he will know that I will get the benefit, but I may not be the one who would enjoy it. But my guardian, my ward, my friend, my family. So the messaging would impact, or your messaging should be affected by the structure of the population.
Right.
If you miss that, then certainly you'll be shouting and you will not resonate.
Does this educational project representation here, does it reflect on that for the general
public? No,
I needed you to make this point because when I come back to ISHAQ
I mentioned when it comes to no formal education, I think that number is probably right, in the same number for national average. But here, the junior high is extremely too high for MPP, sorry. Okay. The junior high is about 19% of the population currently. Most people in this country have now, either have a senior high or degree. Okay. That are the people we have currently. Majority of the country is in this block. So if you're not aligned with this, it means you have a problem.
So the general educational background of those who voted in 2024 is more senior high
and tertiary.
Yes. Unlike the MPP that has more to this point.
Yes.
Okay. On religion,
it's normal because that's generally it's about 75% Christians. So plus or minus margin of error is the same. So it's not any different.
Okay, but the reason why I'm focusing on this is when the panel was speaking, there was one point. In fact, Prof made mention of it, that one of the reasons given for MPP's defeat was that they were saying that they presented a Muslim candidate. So if majority of our respondents are Christians, then when I go into the respondents, I should see the Christians saying that, yes. So if that doesn't, then it means that
you see, on the issue of the religion and ethnicity, it is when people are short of measure to compare the candidates, they are on equal par on so many aspects, then they find a reason to choose one.
So that becomes like a secondary reason.
Yes. So they focus on the bread and butter issues. When they think that, oh, this guy can win, this guy can win. If both can win, then who would I really go for? Then he go for his own.
Right.
So the religion and ethnicity, if you look at that generally, it doesn't take huge chunk of people's decision point. But when it's a close contest and they want to discriminate, then those small minority people can have an impact.
This is interesting for me. There's been talks that the way they are attacking each other, Ken is firing at Bawumia, everybody is firing at Bawumia. If any of them wins, the party will never be the same again. But here, the people said no. 88% said that there will be unity after.
You see, the shouting and insult is not happening in the grassroots. They are ordinary Tom, Dick and Harry. Why would they insult themselves? And the problem of unity is not at base, it's at the top.
Right.
Yeah, it's the top that sends the direction that we are divided. But when it comes to the base, I don't think people would leave MPP because it is Bawumia leading or it's Ken leading. This grassroots is the same. Maybe the level of enthusiasm may differ somehow, but the division we are seeing is at the top, not at the grassroots.
Right. Okay. Okay, that's interesting. Now on the 12th, this one.
Yes. Look, this is not the first time we've heard this. Nanado, they said he's been well marketed. Well, and this is something that the delegates have been made to accept for time immemorial. So it is something that is ingrained in their brain. And they believe that. And they always use the word marketed, well marketed. And that well marketed is helping Bawumia in this race.
Right.
So we wanted to tease out, to find out whether Bawumia is right in using that as his campaign pillar. And we saw Ken rebutting that strongly during the course of the campaign. So we decided to ask this question and see where the truth lies. And also use this question as a basis to fish out those who could say that we won't disclose and see their views on these issues. It will tell us what they will do in the end. So we asked them generally, okay, do you feel that, or do you believe in the notion, or do you agree or disagree that sending a candidate for the second time to an election would enhance the party's chances of winning the next election? It started, the first time we asked this question was in October. For the time, I think it was about 52% said yes, they agree. On the second time, it came to 48%. Third time, finally, around 45%. So it's been on a decline over the period. But we can say the majority of them still share the view. If you deduct 45 from 23, what do you get? 22%.
22%.
It's a majority of 22 are saying that they believe in this concept. And then these 32% are neutral. They are not for or against it. So in the event of maybe who is going to lead, they will look at many other factors rather than these two as a key thing to take into account.
So if you put the 32, if you look at the 32 and 23 together, as those who are not outwardly in support of the idea.
You'll be wrong to add 32 to 23.
There are some here who...
so they say they're not here, they're not there. So take them separately.
But 45% of the people believe that presenting a candidate for the second time will enhance our chances as a party. For them as a party.
As a party.
Our chances as MPP in this contest to win. That's basically what it will mean. Okay.
And then we will come to a point where we ask them to pick top 2 qualities that they will look for in a candidate. And in that top 2, can win got 23%. It's somewhere.
So I think it's that will be number slide 15.
Somewhere, here.
15.
You see, so this ties in with the notion of the second term. Because can win if they believe that the second time is better for us. then the can win must be the priority for them. And the can win, as you can see, is 20% of the responses can win.
Okay.
So, we can
so
go back.
let's stay then probably we'll go back. So here what it says is that in their decision making,
yes,
what are the factors or what are the qualities they are looking out for in the candidates? The greatest we got was that they want a candidate that they know can win them power. 23% of the respondents.
Yes.
And 17 says that they want a candidate who cares about the grassroots. And then a candidate who brings change, a candidate who unites the NPP, a candidate who is trustworthy, humble. So humble, that we've been talking about, is basically 8%.
Look at Fighter.
Fighter is 2%. These are the two contending. One is Fighter.
You can say Bawumia is humble,
and then
Kennedy is a fighter. But humble has a higher percentage among the delegate than the fighter.
So the delegates prefer somebody who, and I think
humble, yes.
my panel have said it here that, I mean, they would prefer a leader who is cool and collected than one who steps into the water before he realizes it's hot.
Yes.
Okay, so this is interesting. Now, I'm sure there's a slide. I saw a lower slide where we are comparing this.
What we did was that to be able to triangulate, because you see, when it comes to posters, you triangulate to see the meaning of what these guys are telling you. When you triangulate, you ask, okay, those who said can win is important. Which of these 5 candidates are they preferring?
Should we jump to that slide?
We can do that.
I think that is 41. Okay,
I think
that's 41. Right. So 40. So this is 41.
Yes. So let's take a step back. We know they say Bawumia is humble.
Right.
No dispute, right? We know Ken is a fighter. No dispute. Once we agree with the decision of this delegate on these two, then we should believe in the rest of the decision they have made.
Right.
Humble. How many are voting for Bawumia? 67. Ken, 21.
21 people think Ken is humble.
Yes.
Interesting.
But you can say that by majority,
yes,
Bawumia is leaning on that.
Interesting.
So nobody will dispute this one, correct?
Perfect.
Then you go to a fighter.
Fighter.
Here.
Yes.
Third point.
62.
For Kennedy. Bawumia 25.
Yes.
No dispute.
So you validate the rest.
It validates the rest.
Right.
Then what about trustworthy? It is 45 for Bawumia. 32 for Ken.
Okay.
Bring change.
So I think bring change was the highest.
Yes, 50. No, can win was the highest.
Can win was the highest.
Bawumia
47% think that Bawumia can win 2028 as compared to 24.
The headline poll, remember, was Bawumia 48, Ken 25.
Yes.
Just 1 point between them. It confirms what they've been telling us. So you have so many ways to check whether they are telling the truth or they are lying.
This not disclosed. Is it that they have not decided or they were not willing to say?
Here, everybody has told us those not disclosed. So there were 9% of those who said they won't disclose. But they say humble is very important.
Yes.
Where do you think these guys will go?
Obviously, they will go to the one they think is humble. Yes.
Right? These guys, trustworthy. 15% of them are saying that they are not disclosing. And Bawumia leads 45-32. In the worst case scenario,
if you split to that percentage, majority
will go there. When you go to a fighter, and fighter is about just 2%,
right,
which is not significant.
Yes.
And he's winning by huge margin. Bring change. 15% of them are saying that they will not disclose. But 51 are saying Bawumia. So those change guys go to Bawumia.
Right.
When you go to case for the grassroots, it's 22%. There it may be close because you have 30 and 42.
Yes.
But if you still share them, most will go to Bawumia.
Right.
When you go to can win, it is 24, 47, 22 not disclosing. How will they go?
Go to the majority
these
side.
are the scientific process of really going to somebody's mind without them knowing that that's what you are trying to achieve.
So you're using other questions to validate earlier responses.
Yes.
Okay, so let's go back to where we were. I think we were on 16 at the time. Okay, so when we say committed model, what does it mean?
You have committed to vote for Mr. A, or say Bawumia, Kennedy, Brian, Educhum, Kpandai, Japan, or you have committed, but you have refused to tell us. Those are the undisclosed people.
Right. So 48% have committed and
Yes.
they told you that it is Bawumia.
Yes.
25 committed.
Yes.
And it's KOA. So
Yes.
it's fair to say these are the people who won't change their mind. Ordinarily.
Some of them may be likely, because we asked them, how likely would you change your mind from the time we spoke to you and election day? Only 9% out of the 100 say they may change their mind.
Right.
They may. Now, if nothing happens in the campaign, this 9% will still stay where they are. If something bad about you happens in the campaign, those who say may begin to consider somebody else. That's how it works in polling.
Interesting. Interesting.
So from this, Bawumia is 48, but 21% said they're not disclosing. We went through those qualities.
Yes.
And we saw so many people say they will not disclose.
Yes.
But we saw what they think about the qualities.
Yes.
42% is Bawumia. How much more does he need to cross 50% plus 1?
Just 2.
That is the base of we saying that it is highly impossible Kennedy will win the election. It is based on these facts. This data is where we came from.
But even if all this not disclosed should go to him,
it's still
that's
below
46%.
Still below.
I think when you go to your runoff also, it shows that if it's just the two of them.
Bawumia is already on 51,
yes.
excluding the not disclosing. Yes. So the path to victory is very, very narrow. Very, very narrow.
Interesting.
Especially when Brian Acheampong is doing well. When Brian does well, Kennedy goes down. When Brian goes down, Ken goes up. Bawumia's numbers are much more firm.
But I mean, we've been made to also believe, and I'm here later, maybe Prof being the only one in the studio who has gone for parliamentary election can tell us that the night before the election, a lot of things can change.
Look,
Prof, is that correct?
You see, there are close margins. You see, parliamentary elections with delegates, they are small numbers. You see, if I deal in constituency, it's a small number. If I deal with the whole country, the number is not as what do you call it? What's the word for the statistical word? It's not very dynamic. It doesn't change like that because it's a national figure you are looking at. Where delegates, there are about 1,002 of them. If you are able to get 320 and you do something, then things will change. This is a national level, right? So things can happen, but it will affect small number of people.
Small number, right. Okay. If you look at the, I think this is
the regional breakdown.
So this gives the regional breakdown.
What we are saying is that based on the model we have, we are seeing Bawumia winning 14 regions and Ken winning 2 regions. And that is not different from what happened last election. And why is that so? Because we've seen in the headline prediction, Bawumia is 57%. That's 4% down from last time.
Right.
But Brian is a lot higher. And his numbers, he got 4 from Bawumia and a lot more
from Ken.
Because in the Ken's backyard, that is where Brian too is doing well. So you don't expect that not to affect somebody. And Brian is doing exceptionally better in Northern region than Ken.
Interesting. So Ken is doing very well in Central and Volta
region, yes.
The same 2 regions he did well in 2023.
Yes.
And he's actually dropped in Eastern region, like you explained.
Brian is
from
there
2020 because Brian is.
Yes.
Wow.
Brian's best performance is from what? Eastern region and Savannah region.
Yes, Eastern and Savannah, yes. That's where 14 and 11. So he's even doing better in Savannah.
Yes.
In terms of percentage compared to his own region.
Yes. But remember, Savannah is very small in terms of population, so it may not yield to anything seriously.
Now, on this trend analysis, I think the graph will show it better.
It shows that on the base of the same formula, Bawumia has been declining 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 over 5-point period. And when he declines, see Ken's numbers. It doesn't move with Bawumia's decline. It means that what moves Bawumia with decline is what? Not disclosing.
Yes. Not disclosing is going up.
As Bawumia goes down, not disclosing goes up. And we have seen from the data that not disclosing are exhibiting some behavior that looks like Bawumia supporters. So we are giving you scientific and evidence that you see how numbers are behaving. And not disclosing is going up. And sometimes it coincides with when you are there doing the polling and they are campaigning. At that point, things are changing hands. So if he discloses that this Mr. A is waiting for and he has come from another camp, you see, they would mark this guy red. We were
yes, I mean, some of them change, like you're saying, and I'm sure that's what ISHAQ wants to say. They don't disclose because on the D-Day when they are sharing, they say you vote for us.
Before, on the day of you polling them, before the D-Day, things are happening. So you call him, meanwhile, Ken is there. Bawumia,
he will lose that.
No, he will say undisclosed.
Interesting. But, wow, that's but the fall from 63 to 48.
Yes.
Over a period of 1, 2, 3, 4 months or 5.
Yes.
September to January. That's a reduction of almost about 15%.
Yes, 15%.
Yes, about 15%.
And Ken had gone by only
just
3% over the same period.
Interesting. And then
Brian has
also gone up also 3%.
Yeah, 6%.
That's interesting. But even with the decline,
he's still close to 50%.
Still
close to 50%.
50%. Wow. Wow. This is interesting.
So one interesting data that we want you to look at is those who voted in the last election. What are they doing? And it will also prove that Bawumia is winning this race. In the context of the last election.
The 2026.
Here.
2026.
Yes.
Okay.
In that election, we had Bawumia as candidate, Ken, Adainimo, and Akutua Free.
Yes.
Now, among those who in 2021 voted for Bawumia. 2023, sorry.
Yes.
He has retained 81% of them again, retained. Ken too has retained 81%. So on retention rate, they are the same. But in the intra-defection, Bawumia has lost 9% of his people
to
Ken.
Whilst Ken has lost
11%. So somebody who is winning should be having an advantage over the other candidate. So in the cross-defection, Bawumia is up 2%. Bawumia has lost 6% of his people to Brian Achampo.
Yeah.
Ken has lost 5% to Brian Achampo. But those who are not disclosing, for Bawumia, they account for 4% of his voters. For Ken, 3% of his voters. So you can see that even those who are not disclosing, you can see that most of them are Bawumia people.
Interesting.
In the last election, when we realized most of the undisclosing were Ken people. But now it seems to be different. Now, if you lose grounds among cross-defection, you could make up for that difference among those who didn't show up to vote last time.
So did not vote.
Those who didn't vote,
48%,
are going for Bawumia, and Ken 23%. Overall, look at it. Bawumia on the headline poll was 48, right?
Yes.
And then Ken was 25. There's no difference between that race and among those who didn't vote. And then look at those who are saying that they are not disclosing.
27.
Now, if they are going to vote, who would they vote for?
Those spread, if you are spreading by the ratio, majority will
absolutely. So on this basis, mathematically, there's no path.
There's something interesting I saw about the age, the youth.
Demography, yes. And that is where we've seen another shift.
Yes.
In what we thought to be Ken's advantage. If we look at even the ethnicity and the religious side, so that we can settle this once and for all.
Yes.
Age group.
Yes.
In the previous poll, Ken has been leading among the younger MPP delegates.
And that's what made me...
Now he has lost the grounds.
Yes. That's what made me zoom in, because when I saw this compared to the earlier one,
yes,
Ken was doing very well.
Very well in the younger voters, delegates. Now it is 10 among 10,000 samples. Bawumia now on 35%, Ken 18%, but 29% said they will not disclose. So if you are distributing proportionately the same way, look at 25 to 34 years, the Gen Z is 49% for Bawumia.
Almost
22 double what Ken is getting. And 22% said they will not disclose. How would they vote on election day? They will break away heavily, or relatively for Bawumia. 35 to 44, Bawumia 47, Ken 25, and 45 to 54, Bawumia 48. So there's no age demography here that Bawumia doesn't have an advantage of.
Yeah. Even the one Ken had, he's
not taking them all. And that's why people are concerned about the prediction of giving Ken. Because they thought that by winning 37 last time, it should be doing more than that.
Yes.
But the variables have changed.
And we're made to believe that among the young people, they want somebody who is a fighter, somebody who is vibrant and all those things. But here...
Even in delegates, it's now shifting.
Wow.
Among people with education, Bawumia's biggest strength is among tertiary people and those who didn't go to school at all. Among people with degree, he is 49%, Ken 18%. So if you want to see where the middle class and upper class will go, assuming he's the candidate, use the tertiary guys to measure.
For the tertiary, it makes a bit of, it's easy to understand.
Yes.
Is there no education that, because we've been made to believe that when it comes to Ken, he speaks to the ordinary delegate, the person down there, those who have no voice. But those people with no voice, 53% are saying that.
That's why perceptions are not always reality. The data speaks to itself.
This is interesting.
Yeah. Okay. Let's look at the religion.
Okay.
Among the Christian delegates, Bawumia is 44%. Ken, 26%. 23% will not disclose. Among the Muslims, Bawumia 61. Ken, 24. 19% will not disclose. Other religions, 47, 26. And then traditional religion, that's where there's a tie. And those are very, very few among the delegates. And then no religion, 61, 20.
But so again, that's the reason why I asked for that Christianity, because from this slide,
yes,
it's obvious that discussion or that argument about he's not popular or he lost because it's moot.
It's moot because the delegates are Christians and are voting for him. He's leading here.
But I was thinking it's more with the delegates than at the national level.
Well, I mean, yes, at this the delegates level.
The 2024 election was more national.
Yes.
And this is peculiar to the
Okay. So your point is that it's possible that inside the party they don't have a problem, but nationally it can be a problem.
It can be a problem, yes.
Well,
yes.
That's a fair.
And then the account, the ethnic groups, it is no different from the religion. Why? Because almost 90% of accounts are Christians. So accounts 44 for Bawumia, Ken 26%.
No.
The Guans, Ghana Dangbe, everywhere is slightly closer. But
So in fact, there's not a single parameter here that.
So if I say I'm confident in my data, unless I have doubt in some of these matrices, those data, then you begin to shake. But across every data you look at, it's consistent. And that's why triangulation does. It gives you comfort that your figures are consistent and they must be true.
Because when you change it anyway.
You slice and dice it, the same results comes out. Look at Ewe group, the Evers. Ken 30%, Bawumia 37%. That is why Ken is winning voter region. Voter region is heavy. Yes. And once you are doing the gap in the Ewe will close. This is Ewes across the entire country.
Exactly. So this one is not because it's just voter. You're speaking to Ewes who are in.
It shows that when you are strong in voter region, it will reflect here.
Yes. Yes. This shows. This shows. Interesting. Now,
on the reason that accounts for his success in the voter region among others. Is it personally him?
Posters don't ask for reasons. You go and do that.
Okay.
I mean, one of the things that has been
I'm asking those questions because he has made certain utterances about the people of the voter region. Yeah, he's doing well.
No, he says that they are his in-laws. So by inference, it means that that's where his...
No, aside the in-law, there were some negative comments he's passed about Voltarians, and yet he's doing well.
Well, so maybe they look beyond the negative and pay more attention to their in-laws.
They should go and find out why.
Okay. So maybe we speak to the runoff.
And here, we ask them, in an unlikely scenario where there's a runoff, who would you vote for? Here...
Ken drops?
Yeah, Ken drops. You know why? Let's go to the data here. I don't know whether there is, we did that, it should be somewhere. A chart. We showed, no, maybe I didn't do that. In a runoff, what happened is that the other delegates voting for the other candidates they look for a common candidate that they think they can go with. And normally, in a contest like this, where Bawumia is coming against so many accounts, you would expect that the other guys will rally behind themselves and support their candidate. It doesn't happen here.
Right.
Bawumia was on 48% and Ken 25%. In a runoff, Bawumia goes up by 3% and Ken by only 1%. It means most of the people voting for the other candidates in a runoff, they come to Bawumia. And the reason it shows that, look at the favorability rating. How favorable do you see this candidate? The one with the highest favorability rating in the runoff, he gets the numbers.
Ooh, okay.
He gets the numbers.
Okay. I get what you mean.
Which one then is the neighbors model?
The neighbors model is another way we develop to check whether our predictions and numbers are sensible. It was used in America in 2016 and 2020, where you have an issue of people not telling the truth themselves. So you ask them, or we ask them, who do you think your friend delegates are voting for in this election? He would lie to you about what he was doing, what he wants to do. But as for his friends, he'll tell you. And the model shows that Bawumia is on 62%. So 62% of the delegate believe that their friends are voting for Bawumia.
So one delegate thinking that this other delegate...
This is my friend, yes. And this is the count. And 32 voting for Kennedy. Now, if you apply the margin of error in our model of 3%,
today, yes.
almost the same as what these guys are telling us.
28, 29,
Yes.
and this one thanks to about 50.
Yes. But what we are seeing is that in the neighbors model, Brian is lower than what we are giving him in the predictions. Because the numbers Brian is getting, probably, Bawumia was probably 61 before, now 62. He's doing better among who do you think they are voting for than the actual vote. So we have two models to test. If this one works, maybe in the future we'll stop doing who would you vote for and use the friends one. Yeah, because that is the way, that's the nature of polling. You learn new tricks all the time. The one that gives less error is a good approach to use.
Right. So let's go to your final. What you are predicting to be based on everything that you have done.
Yes.
This is global info analytics prediction by close of polls today. That by the time the counting is done and the declaration is being made, Bawumia should be 57% plus or minus 3%.
Yes.
Kennedy 28% plus or minus 3%, and it follows.
Yes.
Is this not too what word should I use? Far-reaching.
We have shown you several data that is pointing to somebody leading. We are very confident with Bawumia's numbers here and the range. So his lowest, we think, maybe 54.
Right.
And highest could be 60. But what we've said is that because Ken and Brian's numbers are fluid, we really can't bet on where Ken will end or where Brian would end, and then where they will land. So we expect the numbers to move in between these two candidates. But we are very confident about this headline, this number for Bawumia.
Interesting.
If Brian underperforms, Ken would go up significantly. And if Ken...
Prof, you want to ask the question?
In most cases, the qualitative data usually will explain one of the reasons the qualitative data, how am I going to put it? Qualitative data are often used to explain the figures, the quantitative. And one of the reasons that may explain candidates hedging or not disclosing is the fact that maybe the incumbent or the power holder supports a candidate other than the one that they support.
Yes.
So for example, maybe in the last elections, the 2023 primaries, people who were against Bawumia may not want to disclose that they are against Bawumia for fear of victimization, maybe from the president. So I'm still thinking, in this case that MPP is not in the position,
why are they still
why are they still overwhelming number of hedging, kind of undisclosed votes?
That was why I said I have an answer to it.
Okay.
I've got a lot of prominent people from the Northeast, Northern region, and Upper East as well. going to Brian Achampong. And when I heard that information, I'm surprised that you have left our camp and you're over here. He said, ISHAQ, how can I do that? I am for Bawumia through and through. I swear, if you want me to vote and come and shake you that day, I will do that. But this is an opportunity for us to shop. Look, I went there, I got 2,000, and I spent 2 nights in a hotel. So don't worry about that. So this thing explains. So when they shift from Bawumia and go over there, so at some point that person was very prominent. And later we heard that person go, they said, no, we are there to chop. Please leave us alone. And he is actually not a police station executive. He is a constituency executive, regional executives. And then these people doesn't hide it. They say, we have money. And they say, okay, we'll come and chop. So I think some of this explain.
The data confirms it because whenever Bawumia is losing, the undisclosed goes up rather than another candidate.
Yes. Yes. I mean, it makes sense. The correlation is very simple.
No, mine is not scientific, but
you can make those arguments.
Yes, you can't. You can't. So this one is lawyer ISHAQ. It's not Mr. Dankwa.
Yes. I with this account.
Yes.
I think Mr. Dankwa's poll, let me say the findings of his poll is really telling. I mean, the findings are telling. In fact, that's my reading of the findings. So, Prof, you could hold a different view, but that's my reading. Yes. Okay. That's my reading of the results. So I'm saying that it challenges, even though the sample size was 10,133 out of over 211,000 plus. So, but I mean, generally in polls, you can pick a representation of a sample.
5% is good enough.
Exactly to project. Yeah. So it is a fair projection, which Musa Dankwa. So
I mean, they say when you just take a ladle of the food. If it tastes nice, the pot tastes nice.
Yes, yeah. Exactly. You know, so for me, because that has been the argument, I don't know what will be the portion on the side of the NDC. Whether they will also have more JHS delegate or SHS delegate or the tertiary or a mix of them. I think it's
when it's coming to their
exactly, then we'll get to know. But like I'm saying, it's a bit revealing. Then again, it tells you that a major section of the population, or let me say the delegates, are not people who are ready for a deep analysis when it comes to
discourse.
Yes, they are not they are not individuals ready for that kind of conversation. They want you to calm down. What is in it for them? What will be their benefit? Like Musa Dankwa well articulated. Sometimes it may not be what they would directly benefit from, but what they are people, either family members or relatives or even friends, stand to gain. So,
I mean, you can tell from the campaigning messages when all the people went.
Exactly.
They are telling them, "Oh, we'll bring you when we win. We'll bring this number of appointments to your constituency. We'll do this. I will take this to put here because it's more of what is in it for us."
Exactly. And which was why the campaign promises of these aspirants will not be the same message they will use when it comes to the national politics. Yes. Because these are the people, these are the issues that matter to them. So when we come to the larger conversation, that is when I will be dealing with what KWAME is interested in, the top brass economic conversation. So campaign message tailoring, I think was efficient because, in fact, so Prof was saying that he didn't hear of their promises, their policies, some of the policies. I think this is one of the reasons. They may not be saying things that will satisfy the larger audience, but they will say things that will satisfy the grassroots delegates. So, in whole, Musa Dankwa consistently has proven to be a data gem.
Plus or minus 3 data gem.
No, it's good. No, the thing is that the margin of error is very important.
It's good.
Because the thing is, it gives you a buffer. It creates a buffer. So that even if the projected winner falls, he will not fall that significant. He won't witness a significant drop when it comes to the vote. Yes. So I think this is a reflection of what is happening. And Musa Dankwa said, I followed some of his Facebook conversations where he's talking about data projection and prophetic projection. But the thing is that, I think we are in the part of our political life where we need to be mindful of some of these prophetic pronouncements. In fact, I love the former IGP because of his the restraints and the constraint he placed on these prophetic pronouncements. So I think we need to be visiting those things. Just do your prophetic messaging in your church. But we should be able to sanitize the system. Let's allow the scientific process to run. Because the thing is that we do more politics and more, we are more religiously inclined towards matters of politics, national affairs, and governance, to the point that we tend to relegate conversations on data and other things, to the point that when politicians are talking about data, they are scared to talk about it.
But is it not the case that these same politicians, when they are campaigning, they go to these churches, to these mosques, to these shrines, to go and speak to these people? So they are the ones who empower them, that when they come back, they also are able to stand in their office and make all these declarations.
I mean, that forms part of campaign.
Today you've called me Kwame a lot of times.
Hey,
because he's worried. Yes.
Because Kwame has not had enough enough of the coffee, so I think they should give him more coffee. So Kojo, this is the thing. It's part of the campaign message tailoring. MUSSA DANKWAH demonstrated the various religious backgrounds we have. The Christian background, the Islamic. Then we have the traditional, and then the atheists and those who believe. I used one time to be part of the I believe in the. Look at the way Kwame is looking at me. But I mean, I'm a Christian. But it tells you, when it comes to political campaigning, you don't neglect some of these backgrounds. You go there.
Right.
Because you are likely to get votes from there. You appeal to their session and get votes from there. So I think, MUSSA DANKWAH has done a good job. Consistently, he's proven himself. My position is that let his data speak this time around.
Right.
Okay, so I just want to make a quick point that what we are learning from the data is telling of the kind of politics we practice in Ghana. And for me, the kind of politics we practice in Ghana is what I describe as the patronage type of politics, where people are looking at internally what will appeal to the people that they are seeking the votes from. That we have to say things that will get them to vote for us, right? Forgetting that beyond this is also a national election that they would go into. It is one of the things that NDC is suffering from today. That if you check, a lot of the grassroots people are not happy. And they are not happy not because the NDC government is not performing. They are not happy because their expectations were raised during their primaries and whatever it is. Promises were made to them. And so, if those promises have not been fulfilled by the government in office, then obviously they will be upset. Right. So I don't want us to get to the point where it will be a repetitive kind of politicking that we are practicing in Ghana, because all of these things give birth to patronage and clientelism, where people are even sponsoring political parties on the basis of the benefits that will accrue to them in the event that their parties come to power. It is precisely the reason why we are retrogressing as a nation. It is precisely the reason why people are stealing monies. It is precisely the reason why most of the roads that are supposed to be constructed are not being constructed, because somebody is looking for the contract in order that he will be satisfied because he spent so much or contributed so much. MUSSA DANKWAH and I off air were talking about one particular person whose name we will not mention, right? Sponsoring one of the candidates. So tomorrow, if that candidate becomes the leader of the party and subsequently becomes the president of Ghana, you can be sure that person obviously will benefit and control that leader. We don't want, at this mature moment in our democracy, we don't want that. So I think that we should rather, and again, people should take a cue from the NDC administration. The NDC administration has now looked beyond the periphery of internal party, politics and party satisfaction to a more national, politicking, which is what all of us have been looking for and praying for all these years. So if you think that because you are a polling station executive, because you whatever, ward or coordinator, whatever they call it, right? And because branches and things like that. And because you were involved in selecting a leader, which leader then later becomes for instance, the president of the country, you are entitled, then yes. So so the data is actually very important. We have to really look at the data very well, because if you are looking at the numbers in terms of even the percentage, right? You're looking at the people who are controlling the affairs of the party, and BRAKO put it so eloquently, in relation to the people who are even going to decide who should lead the party going into 2028. It's telling. So then, because people who are, I'm sorry with respect, but people who are JHS leavers will not necessarily have the same IQ as people who are SHS leavers. Similarly, people who are in SHS leavers may not have the same IQ as people who have done their first degree, and so on and so forth. Prof's ability to analyze things will definitely entirely be different from mine if I were to analyze, the same things, because he has the benefit of research. So we need to, at all material times, look at some of these data and then use it for the betterment of our political parties and for the betterment of our politics.
Prof, ISHAQ, I'll come to you. Because I know remember when we started, I asked lawyer ISHAQ that question. Okay, I understand Kpandai Japan is about to vote, so please. Okay, so
we cannot talk about, because in as much as other candidates are what is calling for this? I'm so confident for today.
Well, elections are such that you cannot be resonated.
For decades, we have helped businesses connect with their trade partners all over the globe. From Ghana to Burkina Faso, Senegal, China, Morocco, France, Netherlands,